X, and he's about to tell me to do something. Okay, so yeah, I'm Tanish Tego. By day, 9 to 5, I'm a professor in leadership and management and the deputy head of school for the business school for Arden University. We are around in 6 countries. We're in England, UK, England, Berlin, Pakistan, moving into India and Singapore. And we're in Abu Dhabi and Sharjah. And I'm deputy head of the business school. Okay. So that's what I do as a day job. I've been in education for 20 years. And before this particular job, I was actually what's called a curriculum developer for about 8 years. And what I used to develop was actually master's degrees and MBA programs. And as a result, one day I thought to myself, so many people study business, so few people start businesses. What's the point of studying business management if you rarely even get a business job? And then even worse, once I moved into building entrepreneurship degrees, I was also looking at statistics. A lot of people will study an entrepreneurship degree. After that 6-month call, 12-month call the university makes and say, where are you now? They're usually working. So I decided I wanted to create something that was like totally different, but exactly the same. So I created what we call our entrepreneurship bootcamp, which is really built on MBA programs, economics programs, all of those master's programs. And it's one big curriculum, squashed into one, but kind of taught in reverse because actually I'm quite dyslexic. I'm extremely dyslexic. I'm very dyslexic, proudly dyslexic. But so that means that I think more from a right brain perspective than a left brain perspective. So left brain people love to read and write and go through things in detail, and that's really how they grasp things. Whereas I'm kind of like, wear a pretty skirt, dance around in the brasa, and have brunch and learn. That's how I learn things, right? So our curriculum is really extensive. It's amazing. It's gorgeous. At some point, if anyone's interested, I'd love to show you. But that curriculum and that curriculum creation process is how we got to have the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club. Because over and over, I'd work with one woman after another woman, then they'd want to know each other, they'd want to meet each other. And so eventually I was like, why don't we just meet each other together? And that was like 2 years ago when I was living in Dubai. I was running away from my 20-year-old son because the pandemic was hell, being stuck with him. But yeah, I love him. So yeah, so then I was in Dubai, and yeah, that's how it started. So 2 years later, we have a real life Ladies Entrepreneurship Club. We have women across 18 countries, which is why we always live stream our events, which is why there's a camera team here. We also, of course, because we're women, a lot of people can't make it on the day. So many people contacted me about childcare or the other thing. So we always also film, okay? So just so you're aware, this is who I am. This is how we came to all be here today. This is our second Brunch and Learn, and we love having Brunch and Learn at Brasa. It's one of our favorite places. So that's really it. So that's my introduction out of the way. Thank you. I do want to say, though, we're going to have a little competition that Mpo. I was telling her today, she has the worst name for shouting. It forces you to start quietly. Mpo. Mpo. Yeah, so this is my good friend Mpo. She's from South Africa. I met her for like 29 hours, maybe, last year, give or take. And we fell in absolute LEC female entrepreneurship love. And so she came back this year to come and stay with me for 2 weeks. And then she was supposed to leave today. But I mean, of course, she extended her flights. So Mpo came up with an amazing suggestion for a competition, which I believe, are you going to tell?
Hey everyone, everybody looks so gorgeous, if I can just say. Love how you showed up. So self and Tony thought, how can we take this a step above for the ladies in the room to really give you some value add if it's things that you're interested in. So we have 3 offers for today. I don't know how many of you guys have gone onto the LEC website and you've seen what is on offer, but one of the things that we are putting on special offer today is entrepreneurship profile assessment with Tonisha. And essentially what that entails is, as a business, you come in as the business owner as yourself with your strengths and your weaknesses, and that is how you will show up in your business. But how many people actually know to take that into account, to address their strengths and their weaknesses, to understand their character traits? because that's probably where you are strong. That's where you'll be strong in business. Where you are weak, that's where you'll be weak in business. So we decided that one of the offers that we wanted to give out for today only, though, is that one-on-one with Tony to get your entrepreneurship profile, which I think will be very impactful on how you then move with your business going forward. You'll start being able to bring in the necessary resources where you don't have the skills. It's today is really about giving us the tools and helping us guide us so that we can be better at what we're doing every day. Okay. So I'll speak to that one for now, and then I think I will then keep mull over it. As I mentioned, it is for today. It's 1,000 CDs, but I think it's worthwhile. She even does personality assessment. It is not just a conversation. There is actual material that will be discussed in this, and I you can take through your life, and not just restricted to your business. It's going to give you some really good information for the self else. Okay. If you are interested, I have QR codes that should come up, but if they don't, come and speak to me and we'll make it happen. And thanks.
Thank you. All right. So I think we should just get started. What do you think? Is anyone hungry? Are we ready to brunch and learn? Are we ready to brunch and learn? Sorry. Okay, so first things first, on the table, you should have our little brunch and learn agenda. Okay. I designed it myself. I'm quite proud of it, but I can understand if it confuses you. On the left side, it's letting us know what meal we're having at what time, so what's being served. And then on the right side is what's being discussed. So the first thing we're going to do is actually, I'm going to switch the panels around just a little bit because one of our speakers is running a little bit late. So our first panel is actually going to be panel number 2, which is discussing packaging and exporting your wellness products and services outside of Ghana. Okay. So for that, we have Sherelle. Sherelle. Woo! Cheer them on, guys. Cheer them on. Cheer them on. We have Solomon. When you're ready, you can pull the seat forward. Pull the seat forward if you need. Yeah, pull it forward. We have Impo. Impo. Where are you? Oh. And Solomon is on his way around. There's Solomon. Okay. Right. The skirt is nice, but it's a little bit logistical. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So I think if we first get started with introductions around, and then I'll go through the questions that we've got prepared, and then just after that, we'll be able to open the questions to the floor. I'm blocking you. Hold on. There you go. Right. So we'll go to the floor. So first off, Solomon.
Good afternoon to you once again. My name is Solomon Mensah. I am popularly known as Solomon Prana. I am a pranic healing trainer and a healer as well. I have been teaching and practicing pranic healing for the past 17 years. And I must say, pranic healing is a very beautiful thing because the knowledge of pranic healing has come to revolutionize, the wellness space. One thing we overlook is emotional health. Every time we talk about, physical health, diabetes, hypertension, and what have you, and most of us are not aware of what our own emotions are doing to us. And learning that pranic healing holds the key to solving emotional and psychological health issues makes me feel so excited about it, because we hardly touch on those areas when it comes to finding a therapy for emotional and psychological health. I'm very happy to be here to share with you energy techniques on how to handle emotional and psychological health effectively. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So quite a few people, I think, or a few people had heard of Solomon before. Who was it? You heard of Solomon before? It was you, right? So thank you for joining us, Solomon. And Lubna, you came very highly recommended by Lubna.
Hi again. I'm Mpho Mako. I work for First National Bank South Africa. I've been in the international trade space for 15 plus years, all the way from your basic foreign exchange transactions up until now where I am, which is more specialized finance, looking at businesses on their growth journey and what working capital assistance they need. So where I'm stepping in from is I'm hoping I'll be able to assist you guys to know what you can do, the pre-work you can do as a business to ready yourself for such conversations, but also being in the South African space, whatever information that you might need or assistance that you might need to maybe reach markets in that space, it's a conversation that we can have also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi
Sherelle.
everyone. I'm Cheryl Genfi. I'm from the States, but I am Ghanaian. I have a degree in health sciences at Rutgers. I don't use it, but I have my own business, Cheryl's Designs, and I'm also the funding chair of a nonprofit, Friends of Africa Incorporated. And I just like to create. Creating is fun. We all like to create. I do it well, so that's all about me. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so if you two keep that microphone. So my first question actually is to you and Poe. So you work quite closely with the export kind of space. And I guess anyone that's wanting to export their services outside of Ghana is going to want to be able to know what are the first three things, I guess, they need to have together to even be able to consider being able to export.
So for me, I think your brand or your success needs to be at home. You need to know that there is a market, firstly, before trying to cross the border somewhere else to a place where you don't necessarily know. Secondly, to ready yourself for export as a business in country, there's always requirements in order to take your goods out, special certifications, codes. I think being in the industry that you're in, you need to get yourself familiarized with what that is. If you're exporting food, there's certain certifications that needs to come with that, depending which country you're sending it to. You need to understand what they need when it gets to that border. So there's a whole lot of education that needs to happen at that point. But in the same time, you need to be identifying your market within said country you want to export to, because it's also a very expensive exercise. I don't know how many people are aware, but logistics has become one of the most expensive things in the last 2 years because of COVID, and it's not getting any better. So you need to take that into account and the cost, and if there are competitors in the new country that you want to go to, and would you be your product, will it be market related? So there's a lot of homework to be done. It is not impossible, but you need to just educate yourself pre-hand and, ready yourself accordingly. It's always best if you can. Banks these days are starting to move in a space where they are trying to be a one-stop shop for importers and exporters. So whether it's your logistical needs, whether it's your financing needs, your clearance needs, so that because they understand that business owners aren't the experts of all these other things, but this is where a lot of money wastage can also take place if you don't know how to go about it. So ask the questions, speak to your bankers, speak to the likes of us who are on the panels that have information that they can give you. But forewarned is forearmed. You don't want to send things that are not going to then be profitable at the end of the day.
Thank you. I was taking notes. I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm like the biggest student of these events. Like, that's how I export. Thank you. Okay, so then in that case, I guess one of the first things you mentioned was about brand. And Cheryl, you work in design. So that's like graphic design, branding, I'm assuming. So I guess what are the 3 mistakes you find entrepreneurs and businesses make when it comes to branding that from your experience prevents them from being able to achieve step 1 that Mpo mentioned?
Okay, so the first biggest mistake I feel like I see is too much importance when it comes to the aesthetics. Aesthetics is important, but at the end of the day, you see a lot of brands who don't even care about their aesthetics and they're doing really good. So yeah, it's important to have a nice brand and make sure everything is cohesive, but you want to make sure you have everything else complete. Because if you don't have X, Y, and Z done, it doesn't matter if it's pretty and it's cute. If your customer service is not doing well, we don't care how it looks, right? Another thing I feel like is important is making sure you're in it for the right reasons. Because a lot of people do brands or do certain things. Like, I know a lot of people who are good at braiding hair in the States, right? But they don't have the personality to be around people. So it's really important to make sure you can do your job because it's a people industry, right? So you want to make sure you're a people's person. If you're not, it's not going to go well. And then another thing would probably be taking your time and understanding what you're doing because you want to make sure your brand is growing slowly and surely. You don't want to do anything fast and put it out there and just, fast money is not long money. You want to make sure it's nice, slow and steady, and it grows and it has a good foundation and it stays that way, right?
Thank you. Thank you. I think it was a good answer, right? By the way, we need to make the speakers feel confident, especially when it's good. So thank you. So then I guess the next point Mpo made was about, who remembers the second point Mpo made? Louder, louder. Legal things. Okay, well, I think that was the third one. What was the second one? Did she not say one that also oh, sorry. I feel like she also said, oh, that was the third. The first. Oh, so that went with branding. So it was like one big point. See, that's why you guys are here, to keep me on track. I appreciate you. Okay, so on that second part of the first point, I want to ask Solomon, because Solomon is really strong at building personal relationships, building like personal brands. And being personal with our customers is key to branding. So Solomon, how do you work on that kind of aspect in terms of building a brand which your customers feel very personally connected to?
Thank you very much. So first of all, pranic healing falls in the service space. And as a service provider, teaching and also healing people who have health conditions, we try as much as possible to do some complementary services. Yeah, we go to various communities in the capital and outside of the capital of that is Accra, and do community healing. One thing that can be identified with pranic healing is having emotional issues, long-standing emotional issues gone in a very short time, especially issues like unforgiveness, finding it very difficult, to forgive. Pranic healing does it so well that, in just 5 minutes, clients or patients are able to release what they've been holding on to for over 20 years. And in the end, even shed, tears. For us, this is a very, positive, achievement in our area. We also, offer training. We offer training in energy healing, that is a pranic healing. And we've been doing this in Ghana since 2004. So yes, we also use the media. We use the media to let people know what we offer. The underlying thing here is we offer a lot of complimentary services, and I am here to do just that for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to throw this question out to the audience. Yes, to you. To you. So I was speaking with a lady earlier, and so this is also another feature, right? We're all experts in the room. We've come to learn from each other and share with each other. But if I speak to some of you and I learn something, I'm going to ask. So you were she was telling me earlier about the fact that she does work in import and actually imports into Ghana, right? Not so much export. This is more import side, isn't it? So I have a question, and I need to get the microphone to myself. Okay. So my question is, what are the challenges you find on supporting of imports? Because I'm sure a lot of the service providers here also have to import certain products. So what are the challenges you find when companies need to import things that they need to be able to run their health and wellness business?
Thank you. I think the main challenge would be sourcing foreign exchange. And last year was brutal, absolutely brutal for those of us in the import space, because you're looking to pay foreign currency for everything you're bringing in. And then you're selling it in cedis. And you get the money back in cedis, and then you have to change it into dollars or, pound sterling or euros. And then you make a significant loss sometimes, most times last year. So sourcing foreign exchange, worrying about the stability of the currency was a huge problem. So right now I'm looking to find investors who would be willing to start manufacturing some of the very basic things we import. It's ridiculous. In the beauty and wellness space, I was just telling a Joe over there. I'm sorry. Absolutely. We all have beautiful manicures. It's gel polish. We don't even make that here. We have to import it. If you want to dissolve it, you go to the salon. They need a dissolver. It's a chemical we're importing. It's ridiculous. You go for a facial, you're using facial sponges that have been brought in from, I don't know, Holland or China or something. And that is the biggest problem. So if we can, maybe importation is not bad. Sometimes if the currency is stable, we can all get what we want. Some of us love chocolates from somewhere else. Even though we have cocoa here, you want white Belgian chocolate. Okay, fine, no problem. But sometimes we can manufacture, some of the things here and save us that fluctuation in the currency. So it wasn't very profitable last year, and that's why I'm looking to sort of find a different way to get the things we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the audience. Okay, so I think that because, food is coming. Oh, starters, they look really good. The vegan food looks really cute. Just want to say. Please take a picture and post on Instagram, guys. Got to be loyal to the cause. So the food has distracted me. So basically, I have a question for you and Poe, because I noticed that when she was speaking, you said you two need to speak. Can you elaborate for the rest of us about what you two need to speak about exactly?
Thanks. I'm happy to. So globally right now, a lot of people are facing import challenges because we found ourselves in a space where China provides a majority of the things that we need globally. And how they got there was when we were not woke enough, they were taking apart every single thing, learning how to manufacture it, and that is why they are the powerhouse that they are today. It didn't happen overnight, but to Maya's point, her needing to start looking for different manufacturers, we need to start thinking about how do we occupy that space, because we can't keep bringing things in from many different parts of the world, where in Africa we have so many resources, we have so many people who need jobs. We are at the place where China is monopolizing, because they are the ones that are occupying the space, but it doesn't mean that we can't change that status quo. It's going to come with challenges. And when you talk about um, slow money is long money, it's the same concept where you will need to be investing a lot more in the beginning. You're not going to be getting as high of returns, but it's a long-term view. Just a little tidbit that I wanted to add that I saw the other day about vibranium and how African countries are choosing to want to start stipulating that foreign countries can't just take the raw material, they need to invest in the production of the raw material. And that's where things like this start, where you start owning the product that you sell. Then it's not going to cost you as much money, because you are not shipping it from halfway across the world to get here, and you're paying for somebody who's doing a packaging in another part of the country. You need to start being resourceful and self-sufficient, and we all have that capability to do that. We just need to be willing to all equally invest in understanding we might pay a little premium now, but in the long run, this is going to be cheaper for us.
Thank you. I want to throw this. Woo! Even the guys, look at it. Look, I see you. Listen, he's loving it. Our live streamer is like, okay. So I want to throw out an opportunity for the audience to also ask questions. Okay, I don't want to be the only one asking questions. So does anyone have questions? Because I do have more. But does anyone have a question, or does anyone have a point they want to add to the discussion from their place of expertise?
Hi, hello everyone. My question is, do any of us have a solution to why we are so interested in outsourcing outside of Africa, but outside of Africa is interested in what Africa has? How do we actually change that? What can we do to change that narrative and make more focus, be to utilize the resources that is in Africa?
A challenge we have back home is unions. It makes it very unattractive for people to invest in South Africa, because when unions go on strike, the production is stopped, which means there's loss in revenue, which creates instability in the market, right? There is a solution to it, but the thing about it is that the solution is not outside of us. It's what we choose to do. It's just that a lot of us aren't ready to have that conversation. Because like I said, what's going to happen is that if we choose to produce things at home, because it is a new market that we would be creating, it's going to start as an expensive exercise. But when people are used to paying X amount, and now you're saying, but we're going to bring jobs, but you're going to be paying X, Y, and Z, people don't want to do it. They find it less attractive. So the natural thing to do as a human is to go for the cheaper product. And because we keep going for the cheaper products, we don't see how we keeping ourselves in this box that we are in.
So I want to follow up that question, but this one for Sherelle, from like a branding and image perspective, because I think it's all good to say, you know, why don't we do this and this from the manufacturing and stock perspective, where we kind of have our hands tied, right? So if the gel for our nails doesn't come from here today, it doesn't. But I think there are other aspects to do with our lifestyles and aspects of our lifestyles that lead us to want to have, and it's getting a bit deep, but we're in a health and wellness session, want to have these nails, right? So I do have gel acrylic wrap on my nails, not gonna lie. So not even gonna waste my time lying. So Sherelle, I think from like a branding and image perspective, for us, I say us, I mean, I'm in the entrepreneurship space, but it's still a feature of health and wellness. So for us in this space, what do you think are kind of like the changes that we need to make to our eyes and the things we look at, consume, and allow to kind of direct us so that we can better create brands and businesses that are not just born in Africa or about the continent, but are also, I guess, so attractive that they become role models for others. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that's one of the big deals. Like, we make something, we'll say, okay, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a this, I'm a that, but do we brand ourselves well enough to become continental role models? Like, what can we do better? What can we do differently?
Honestly, I would say Ghana has a really good, like I say it all the time, Ghana has the best creatives I've ever seen. And like they're really good at branding in this community. But I feel like just with working with clients from like, the UK, Switzerland, and Ghana, I feel like what we really do lack in is like training. Like it's harder to work with, and I'm Ghanaian myself, but it's harder to work with Ghanaians because the micromanaging, you need to do a lot. I'm not gonna lie. So it's more extensive to work with people here. And we like I said, we like easy. We like when the process is there and we could just do it, which is like, China or wherever else. So if we do work with Ghanaians, you do need to be more slower paced. You do need to help them, and it's gonna take time to grow. So I feel like that's the biggest um, issue here with working, in the homeland. But as far as branding, like Ghana really has that down packed. Like when I see like the reels, all of that stuff, they do really well. But it's like sometimes you think you're speaking a different language when you're speaking to people you work with. So I think the training part is like what's gonna be really the thing that stops people from pursuing, to work here. But like, you can't stop us because it's gonna take time, right? So we need to start somewhere. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, clap again, right? um, so I guess my next question is for Solomon, because Solomon, you are in the service sector. We're talking about products, we're talking about branding, but let's look at service. So I know that your business is still very much focused in Ghana, but to me, one of the reasons I thought you fit this panel very well is because I felt like your business looked like it could be a continental or an international branding business, right? And I think that that's because you're able to provide a service to an international range of people, to a very diverse range of people. So what is it about your approach to service provision, do you think, that makes it work for you? And what kind of tips would you give for people who work in the wellness space from a service provision aspect so that they can diversify their customer base, right? Because I think that there's one thing to say it's an Africa-based business or a Ghanaian business, but usually we're not saying we only want Ghanaian customers. That's not what we're saying, right? So how do we also make sure, or what tips can you give us from what you've been able to do to make sure that we also have a diverse range of audience members?
Thank you very much. One key thing is integrity. Then we also have professionalism. Professionalism, you do what you say you're gonna do. You must also be honest. You must be honest in your dealings. You must be timely delivery, and you must also approach your service or your business with a positive mental, attitude. A lot of times, you would find, clients or patients, come to you. They would like to, apart from, needing treatment or healing for their health conditions, they would like to have that acquaintance, build that friendship, also with you, someone to talk to, someone to laugh with, and it is very necessary that we build boundaries somehow, some way, so that we stay, in our lane, we stay in track. Yeah, it is very, very, necessary we pay attention, to these things. And another key thing I'd like to, touch on is, I think I've said it already. Be honest, in your dealings. Be honest, and be more professional. Be more professional. Stick to what you say you do. nothing else. You know, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm not even sure, but I feel like we have about 23 minutes. I forgot to set the timer. But does anyone have any questions for these panelists before we round up? Any more questions? No? No. Great. Oh, was that Hannah? Oh, Minerva, are you sure? Don't worry, you're up next. So thank you so much, everyone. Oh, Impo, do you have something to say? Go on.
I do. So I mentioned that we've got 3 products on offer for today. So I just wanted to name drop the second one. Myself in Tunisia are offering for 1,000 CDs, 3 hours with us, 2 hours with me, 1 hour with her. For any business that's looking to have the banking conversation on how do you ready yourself to get banking finance, or around exporting, or around sourcing for anything in other countries. It would be an hour with me first, where we look at the holistic business and what you need to do. Then you would sit down with Tony and she would guide you for another hour. Then the remaining hour after that, we would sit back and look at the progress and take it from there. It's also going for 1,000 CDs. Again, if you need to take it up, come through to me. Let's talk. We're ready to help where we can.
That is so true. And this is why I haven't because I would have forgotten to tell you that. But actually, the really, really good thing about it is how it's structured is it's an hour with Mpo at some time in the next 7 days.
Yes.
And then she will give you tips and advice. And of course, I'm the person about process, business modeling, business structure, strategy, etc. So once she gives you those pieces of advice that you need to adjust, we work on that. So we'll have a conversation. Oh, Prescott, hello, darling. We'll have a conversation for about an hour. And then you'll go off and do those things. And then you'll have your last hour with Mpo. By then, she'll actually be back in SA. So if there's something to do with specifically wanting to export to South Africa, that's why we're waiting for that third hour to be when she's there. So she can actually help you with anything to do with those things and you can complete. So thank you for reminding me, Mpo. And thank you so much for joining us, Sherelle. Sherelle really is good at design, by the way. So if anyone does have kind of like branding needs or branding advice needs or branding consultation needs, do speak to her. And thank you so much, Solomon. I shall be joining you very soon for an appointment. And I also want to be friends. Is that okay? All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, so I see that we have some new faces. You're very welcome if you joined us in the last few minutes. My name is Perlin, and I work in the technology space. So most recently, I was the general manager for a company called Glovo. If you've seen the yellow bikes riding around town with the logo, then that was part of my job. And then before that, I was working with Jumia. Before that, I was with Booking.com, which was hotels and all of that fun stuff. So if you haven't figured it out, I like food a lot. And I like to travel. So anything that involves those two things, you will find me there. So I can see some of you are branching, and I hope you've also been learning at the same time. Today's session is very much action-oriented. We don't want it to be one of those events where you come, you enjoy yourself, and you leave, and then after that, there's so what? Like, so what have I gained out of this? What do I do differently? So I'm going to put a couple of you on the spot and ask you from this session that we've had, the panel discussion, what is your action point or key takeaway, or what are you going to do living here? Any volunteer? Yes. Nika?
Hello again. I really have been wanting to get more knowledge about importing and exporting. So just having someone here talk more about that and looking at the gains and the cons and the challenges and how to overcome them, that was really a great piece for me, as well as the branding aspect. I am a big fan of also talking about mental health and making sure that that is important. You know, as entrepreneurs, we're always like, I'm hustling, I don't have time to sleep, but sleep is very important. So there was things that I took away from all three of the panelists and was very grateful to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Sleep is important. One more person to share. Ashish, I'm going to put you on the spot.
I think that a lot of financial diligence is required in Ghana, especially from that forex question. It's just a comment more than an action point, I should say. Is that a lot of the banking that takes place in African territories at the moment is parallel to banking sectors, which is why last week, if you go to the bank, you could buy at a rate of maybe 8.5 to 9 to the US dollar. But then on the actual market, cash market, if you needed physical cash, you were getting it between 11.5 and 12. Now that disparity is what causes hell in pricing and all of those things. So I think that being as diligent, we are all coming back here. Some of us are already established here. We're all trying to grow our businesses. I think it's a good reminder, similar to what I believe Solo was saying, to stay integral and go through the banking sector. That would be a good reminder for all of us.
Awesome. And I think that's actually perfect because we're actually transitioning now to talk about finance. So perfect. That was not a setup. It was really just generic. So the next person I'm going to introduce is somebody I'm really excited to hear about. Now, she has a Bachelor of Science in Financial Mathematics, which I think is epic. I mean, there was one course when I was doing my master's that kept me up at night, that made me question my existence on this planet, that made me wonder whether I was actually smart enough to get a master's degree. I think I even broke up with my boyfriend at that point because things were just not going well. And it was because I was taking a course in financial mathematics. And this next lady actually went ahead and got an entire degree in that very subject. So I have an immense amount of respect for her. Her name is Cookie S.L. Kumson, and she's our next speaker. Okay, so one quick announcement. We need a red Ford vehicle with GR 840816 to move their vehicle. I know most of you probably don't know your license plate number off by heart, but it's Ford and it's a red car and it's a 4x4, no? Yeah, it might be red. If it's red and a Ford, it's you. Okay.
I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me. So, fun fact about that degree, by the way, math when I was growing up was the only thing I could do. I couldn't do anything else. English, sciences, whatever you gave me, it was a struggle. So that's why that was the only thing I could actually do at university. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cookie S.L. Kumson. I'm coming from KEK Insurance Brokers. We're the leading insurance broking firm in Ghana. We've been around for 32 years. And since we turned 2 years old, we've actually been able to maintain the #1 position consecutively for the last 30 years. Thank you, first of all, to Tanisha and the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club for having me. I'm excited to talk about insurance. Before we start, I actually wanted to ask a few questions of the audience. I hope Tanisha will not count this as part of my time. So 3 quick questions. What comes to mind when anyone thinks about insurance, by the way? Sorry. Perfect. Yes. Anyone else? So she said protecting your business from losses, lawsuits. So she's referring to liability. She's referring to liability insurance. In your field, product liability or public liability are examples of insurance that she's referring to. You think of car accidents, motor accidents. These we experience quite often. And in Ghana, motor insurance is actually required by law. The law only requires that you have a basic of third-party insurance. But if you can, I would advise you to get full comprehensive. Third-party only gives out a claim to the third party that you hit in an insurance, but you would have to fix your own car if you get the basic form of insurance. Second question, have any of us suffered financial losses? I'm going to restrict these losses to maybe your business interrupting due to maybe a fire, a flood, burglary, infidelity of your staff, legal liabilities, like the lady mentioned, lawsuits. Have any of us suffered these losses? You? Anyone else? Oh, I like risk-free businesses. That's great. And last question. How many of us do not believe in insurance? No? We all believe in it. Well, that makes my job much, much easier. So before I came here, I Googled 2 words, health and wellness. I've never been asked to speak in a health and wellness space. I mean, we all have health and wellness in our lives. We go for our facials, our spas, shower, we use lotions. We all know what health and wellness provides, and each and every one of us actually has access, or daily or weekly access, to this space. So I decided to just find out what Google would say these things meant. So it explains health as a state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So what Mr. Mensah was talking about, mental health, emotional health, it's far more important than just not being sick. So I completely agree with that. It defined wellness. It said wellness actually had 8 mutually codependent dimensions. These 8 are emotional, environmental, physical, intellectual, occupational, spiritual, social, and finally financial. And then I went on to Google financial wellness. It explains this as the feeling of having financial security and financial freedom of choice in the present whilst considering the future. It also went down to give us 4 ways we can actually achieve financial wellness. And this applies to all of us individually, or in planning for a business or setting up any kind of company or service provider business. So the first one was budgeting. Now, if you're like me, I need to budget. I spend more than I earn. When you raise your hands up if you're in there. Okay. So especially for starting a business, you need to budget. You need to actually know what goes into the setup. I'll run through the others quickly: debt, savings and investments, and finally, where our focal point of the discussion will be, is protection and insurance. Now, Google said this, I didn't. So it made this talk so much more easier and more relevant for me. So we all know, I think, well, most of us know, insurance covers losses emanating from the areas I mentioned earlier. So fire, burglary, legal liabilities, infidelity of your employees. I think Impo mentioned strike. Strike is covered in asset or risk. So if you have a factory and something happens and your staff are part of a union and they strike, you can claim what you've lost in the period that you're losing in production or revenue or so on and so forth. It also covers accidental damages. During the flood, I don't know if a lot of you have warehouses or offices, a lot of our finished goods, raw materials, stock, and so on and so forth were affected by floods. And all the areas that I've mentioned are areas that you are unable to financially plan before. They're unforeseeable, they're unpredictable, they are unplannable, basically. So insurance offers you the chance to pay a little premium for these circumstances. So should they occur, you would not have to, So if should they happen, you would not have to fork out money, strain your company's finances, and so on and so forth. And we all know that in running and setting up a business, it's quite expensive. So including this, the 2 areas that you would have to consider when running or setting up, 2 areas of insurance. So life insurance and non-life insurance. We'll refer to non-life insurance as general insurance. For life insurance, I think all of us as individuals, if you are a mother, a wife, if you have parents who you take care of, if you have dependents, it's financially imperative to get life insurance. It provides continuity of normalcy for your families, sometimes continuity for your business. If anyone depends on your salary or any income you bring in, it's imperative to have life insurance. For medical insurance, on the other hand, so in Ghana, we have the National Health Insurance Association. So insurance companies or brokers only sell private health insurance. The National Health Insurance is where you'll get the NHIA cards in the public space. So for for private health insurance, what we would normally recommend at KEK is if you have if you have under 10 staff, it's quite expensive to get private insurance for your staff. So we'll normally advise our clients to, over the period, just self-insure. Make sure you put some money aside in your planning and your budgeting space to cover for cost of medical expenses for your staff. Normally it's good practice to include their spouse and maybe a 2 or 3 dependents, depending on what your company can afford. Legally, you're liable for anything that happens to your staff whilst they're at work. So there are policies that can cover this legal liability, for example, workmen's compensation, if they're more in a factory setting. There's another, so for the life side, we have life insurance and health and medical. For the general side, we have some of the policies I was talking about before, asset or risk. So asset or risk will cover fire, flood, and accidental damage. So it's an amalgamation of 3 areas of risk. Asset or risk was actually created for the insurance market by KEK insurance brokers years ago. We used to have just fire and allied perils or a separate burglary policy, and there was no accidental damage included in the cover. And we all know accidents specifically happen at work. It's not going to be just fire or flood. In Ghana, legally, you're required by law to have at least fire insurance for any commercial property, office space, any space that you're using to run your business. Legally, it's required to have fire insurance. Sometimes we have these guys from the NIC coming around to check, asking for your fire sticker. You're supposed to have, for example, a fire extinguisher at any exit or where you can reach to put out any fires. This is because even though sometimes when a loss is happening, the first point of call is to try and minimize the loss. Yeah, there's a rule of insurance that you don't act insured just because you are insured. You have to try and act as uninsured as it is. Imagine if every motorist on the road had insurance instead of driving any way they liked just because they know if an accident happened, insurance would pay out for it. So the asset or risk covers these losses that I mentioned. This is the policy that will be able to be covered for strike that Impo mentioned. Some of these companies have them automatically attached to their policies, but some companies you may have to request these. Another is fidelity guarantee. So fidelity guarantee is not very popular in the market, but it involves infidelity from your staff. We have a few clients where staff collude, especially when you have factories, you have stock, you have money, you're a business that collects cash from your clients. Staff sometimes collude and take tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of cedis. So if you have a policy like this in place and the theft emanates from your staff, so only your staff only if the theft emanates from your staff can you claim on this policy. There's little specifications on what you would have to do to be able to claim, and if you need any extra information, you can see me later so we can go into that because I don't have a lot of time. There's also liability risk. The lady mentioned lawsuits. Recently we had Mawako, food poisoning, there's an arrest, or in the police station. If this victim decides to go to court, Mawako would have to pay any amount that the judge imposes on them. That means Mawako as a company has a liability now that they don't know if they can afford. Product liability, public liability for explanation's sake. So recently we've had these gas stations blow up. So when a gas station blows up and human lives are affected, and sometimes it goes to the neighboring property, this is where public liability, the liability is more to the third party, either property or lives. So if you have a public liability policy, then the insurance would cover any legal liability or any losses that emanate from this. And then we have motor insurance. You mentioned motor accident. This is pretty simple, so I won't go through that so much. And then the lady at the back, I can't remember your name in green, Maya. Maya was talking about export and import. So currently, the insurance law has actually just been changed in 2020 recently, and marine is one of the legally required policies in Ghana. So before, when you were importing goods, you normally have to do CIF. Currently, you have to do CF and buy your insurance from a local insurance provider. So I realized that I've said so much. There's probably a lot going on. I'm quite tired of speaking. So this goes down to why what I do is important. So I work for an insurance broking firm, and brokers are insurance professionals. So I myself am a chartered insurer. And what this means is that I have the right expertise and experience to go in your place and purchase an insurance. With insurance brokers, we also handle your claims 100% free. You don't pay a penny to an insurance broker. The reason is because when you go direct to an insurer, you're going to get the same quotation that if you came through me, you would go to. The benefit of going with a broker is sometimes you may actually get cheaper premiums. A broker actually scours the market. So I would probably go to 3-4 insurance companies to understand what the pricing situation is that, and even sometimes the policy options. When you go direct, one insurance company would give you one quote. You wouldn't really have comparison of what the market could offer. Because myself and the direct insurers are both professionals, I'm able to negotiate. Also, brokers really try to understand your risk profile. I've seen a lot of different businesses. Everyone has different operational needs, which means your risk needs will not be the same. Having a broker means we try to really understand what your risk profile is, what your operations are. First of all, at KAK, what we try to do is minimize your risk. If your risk profile is increasing, we try to find ways to manage your risk, to mitigate your risk. For example, one of our clients in the flood recently lost all her stock, her raw materials. We managed to get the claim settled, and then when the building was rebuilt, we asked her to lift all items at least 3 to 4 feet off the ground. So have bars across the warehouse and make sure you're ready. So should this occur, even though you have an insurance policy, the time, the money, all of that is such a headache in running a business. But anyway, this is what I'll try and end here because I'm sure I'm over time. But this is what we do at KAK. I would love to help any one of you if you need. If you have any questions, please go ahead. If not, you can see me after. Before I stop, we're actually running a raffle. I have really great gifts: headphones, AirPods, diaries, pens. Some of them are all together in a box. So please leave your name. I have a vending table at the back. So please do leave your name. We'll run a raffle. We'll do it now. Okay. Well, for anyone who's not in it, I feel bad. But if you have your business cards, please pass them on to me now, really quickly. And
so we're only going to give away one now. Yeah. Pass business cards or whatever forward to enter the raffle, please. Yeah. When I show you these things, you're going to want them. Pass your business cards. I already reserved all of them for myself. So she's going to post me a version after. But I ran up firstly because I have a question. So while you're passing business cards up, the ushers will come and collect them from you. Those don't have cards. That's a good point. Can you give me those slips? Oh, actually, you're here, so you want to pass it. If you don't have a card,
here. Yeah, go ahead. Go here.
So we have a very competitive person. Yeah. I haven't even started the raffle. She said, "But how are you going to do this thing? Because if you pick, yes, we pick."
Patricia.
Where are the ushers? Usher, please get those for the back. Yeah, that's fine. She's getting. Just get her. Yeah, she's getting the papers. Good.
Should we do this first?
Exactly. So guys, what I wanted to do. Where's Cookie? Cookie, I have a question.
Just for the prices. Yes.
So no, give. Okay, so Cookie, I have a question.
Yes.
So, by the way, everyone, one of the main reasons that. Sorry, sir. Please forgive me, sir. God, this competition got serious. You haven't even seen the prizes yet. One of the main reasons Cookie is here is because we were in a little wedding. We were in a big and amazingly beautiful wedding together a couple of weeks ago, and that's how we met. And I said, you know what, Cookie? I'm trying to run an event on the health and wellness sector. And the one thing that I find is a big problem is health insurance for people, entrepreneurs or self-employed people in Ghana. And she said, oh, I do that. And then she went on further to say, but you know what else is important is ensuring your goods, your services, your products, etc. Now, I know Cookie's given us a nice talk about that, but I want to be quite specific with a couple of questions for myself, okay? Oops. So as you can see on the other side, Cookie, I have quite a lot of products and services, as do quite a lot of people in the health and wellness sector. What kind of items are we supposed to be thinking about insuring? Like, what items are worth insuring? Because some of these items are fast-moving consumer goods. So how does that work? Is there even insurance for that?
All items. So when you have, let's assume you have a warehouse that has goods in it. Even if you're transporting them, even if it's fridge items, freezer items, perishable goods, it's imperative to insure it. If you don't own the property, just get insurance for your stock. So sometimes you're renting the space. Anything could happen whilst it's sitting there. So just calculate on an office, whatever it is. Just figure out what the total of that is worth. You could come back and the next morning realize that burglars have kind of broken into and taken stuff. So it's just best to insure it as soon as you know they're coming into the country.
Okay, so then I insure, and then the burglars come and take my stuff. Like, how long does it take?
So
that's
one of our jobs as a broker. So
Yeah.
a lot of the times when you go direct, insurance companies see you as one client, as opposed to when I go, I have leverage, I give them quite a bit of business, especially because of how large we are. It's easier to get claims sorted. The only thing you'd have to do is fill out a claim form. Burglary is pretty easy. It has to be obvious that the person broke in. So you can't claim burglary if there's no evidence of a break-in. It could have been just you walked in and picked up some stuff. So there has to be evidence of either the door's broken in, and those are pretty easy. The days of insurance companies not paying claims are far behind us. I mean, we're decades into insurance companies understanding that customers really, really will come back if you treat them fairly and according to whatever it is that they bought. So,
Okay, so let's say I don't have a big, massive fire burglar event, and just like some of my stuff just expire, and it makes me sad.
so no, not really.
It's an important question. Is that something I can insure for?
No, so insurance can't. So like if you insure your machine, perishable goods is easy because it's rotten, so it's not like it was stolen or damage had happened to it. We can understand that concept. But another concept that is also a little bit tough to understand that is like machines. So machinery breakdown is something you can insure. So if you use your machine and you service it regularly, especially a few of us, I'm sure, have a lot of equipment where we insure. To buy machinery breakdown, you have to have a proper service policy, because these are some of the things the insurance company will ask if your machine breaks down out of the blue and you want to collect money to try and put it back into use. So perishable goods, no, because the goods are rotten and you can't sell it anyway. So that's almost pushing on your loss as a business, or as the way the customer kind of frequents your business, which is different to the machine that's actually working and you've paid for machinery damage. Machinery damage is also different from assets. So if you buy asset or risk policy, you can include your machines under the asset or risk policy, but it doesn't cover machinery breakdown.
Okay. Hi, I have a question.
ma'am.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christine. I have a health and wellness center. A lot of my clients have health insurance, but companies won't pay for holistic health. Companies will not pay for holistic health.
Yeah.
So some of the things that I offer, they can't do it under their health insurance. Why?
I mean, it's something, especially as brokers, we get a lot of clients, and really it's more conversation. I think recently we've managed to get them to include, there's this herbal clinic, there's this Chinese herbal clinic in Osu. We've managed to include services from that clinic. So there are a lot of our insurance partners that we've spoken to, because a lot of these customers feel, especially when you're dealing with the older people. So when we get customers who want to buy health insurance for their mothers or their dads, a lot of our parents kind of prefer these types of medicine. I feel like we're bridging the gap. It will be a while before we get to, yeah. I have some cards, so I'll actually give them around. Thank you.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, is there anyone with the mic?
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
When you talked about the burglary and how it's obvious, I had a situation, and I'm coming to install cameras now, but I had a situation where it wasn't obvious, where I come to work and equipment was missing. I knew someone had broke in. Eventually, I found out that somebody had a master key. How would it, and they came in more than one time. That's how I found out. And then in the area, people found some people who said somebody had the master key. How would you deal with something like that?
That's a really awesome question, because yet again, this really proves why going through a broker is far more important than going direct to an insurance company. So if you go to an insurance company with that specific situation, your claim can be repudiated because you can't actually prove. It could mean that you picked up the machine, put it in your house, and decided to take pictures and say, hey, my machine is lost. Did you have insurance for the machine? Okay, so I'm sorry. Yeah. But so normally with that, if you had a broker, and so sometimes when we want to insure machines for our clients, or maybe laptops or any machine that you work with, we collect the serial numbers as brokers. We don't always share the serial numbers with the insurance companies. I'll tell you why. Because sometimes that machine would have broken down, you would have replaced it, but it's still existing. You know, the old one is off your books, this is a new one. If a claim happens, insurance companies will go right down to the serial number. So in this type of claim is really about the relationship I have, the longevity of insurance, you know, the frequency you've paid your premiums. Maybe you've been paying premiums for the last 3-4 years, there hasn't been that much of a claim. It's very much relationship. Insurance is a relationship business. The technical stuff is a little bit, you know, but at this point, insurance companies know that if there's a claim, a customer has suffered a loss, and they really, really do want, or at KEK, we really, really do want to help you get put back in the position you were. So it's more conversations that would help with that situation.
So I have the next question.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's two. The first one is, if I want health insurance for myself as an individual, I can come to you.
Yes.
Okay. And the second question is, as a yoga teacher, sometimes you might be teaching someone and then maybe they'll start having shoulder aches or something will happen to them. So is there a policy that protects me from them saying that because I was teaching them that they incurred this kind of injury?
Yeah, so public liability. So the customer is a third party to your event, and this is the same thing the lady mentioned. She can decide to file a lawsuit. She didn't like the service you provided. She feels like she has actually been harmed medically. Normally a medical report would say, you know, and medical reports that require like in-depth medical assessments are actually very, very expensive. So she'd go all the way and you get a bill of 60,000 cedis because she suffered so much loss, and you would have to pay for it. But if you have public liability, you'll be fine. The insurance company would take care of any judgment that the judge gives. Normally in figuring out public liability, you have to kind of consider the risk profile of your business. So if you deal in businesses where this is likely, just in your financial planning, think what is the likelihood of the risk, or what is the magnitude of the risk that I could be exposed to, because that actually helps me gather enough information to understand what value I should put her sum assured. If her company's sum assured was at 50,000 cedis, let's say, and the lawsuit came out to 65,000 cedis, the insurance company would only pay up to 50,000 cedis because she only paid premium for the 50,000 cedis, and the company would still have to support would still have to add on the other 15,000 cedis for the customer. So I hope that answers. But anyway, this deals with any third-party lawsuit, so public liability, and it's also required by law. There's a portion of your asset or risk insurance, sorry ma'am, it's a portion of your asset or risk insurance that covers public liability, but it's only 10% of your your total sum assured. So normally if your business is high risk, we would ask you to have a standalone policy, very, very cheap, or we can maybe increase the portion of the AR a little bit. But it's normally better if you have a high profile to have a standalone PI, and then we'll delete the the PL from your asset or risk policy. Sorry.
Okay. So you said earlier, if you have like a smaller amount of employees, like 10 or less, you need to kind of budget for your own expenses.
Yeah.
What is the minimum that you all will cover as far as employees?
Even for 10 plus, this is more advisory. If you have 10 employees and you feel you're paying quite high medical cost, it's more of a comparison thing. I would never advise my client to pay more than they need to for any kind of risks. And sometimes when you look at the total you pay for medicals for your staff plus their spouses, it's it could be small. So what I would say is maybe just go ahead and seek quotations. It's easy to contact a broker. Everything we do for you is completely free, but you would have the chance to compare. The reason I say we say this normally is we've seen this a few times when people come with a smaller amount of staff, and it's just so much more when they hear what the premium is as compared to whatever they may have been doing in their office. But you can kind of balance it. So keep doing that until your team grows large enough or until your medical expenses become more. But if you check maybe every year, every 2 years, you'll be able to compare which would work for you best. But we can also help with that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I have 2 quick questions from my side. All right. My name is Yasmin.
Hi, Yasmin.
Hi. So my first question was around just types of insurance. We talked about insurance pertaining to risk around goods and services. But what's interesting is I'm sitting next to a lady here who is actually in the tech space, right? Blending wellness with tech. And I'm curious as to whether the insurance companies are now thinking about things like cybersecurity and all of those threats, and whether they should also be thinking around insuring that type of thing. So that was question number 1.
Good.
And then the question number 2 is a bit more controversial. You started by asking, who here doesn't believe in insurance? Okay, so I'm glad that most of us do believe in insurance, but I do think that there is some skepticism. And part of the skepticism might be because we're in a country like Ghana. We're in a country where a couple of years back we had a financial crisis where depositors didn't know whether they could access their money from banks. So there's also that thing at the back of our minds: when I'm paying my premium to my insurance company, will that insurance company deliver when there is an issue and my goods are destroyed, etc.? So those are my two questions for you.
I love those questions. Thank you. I'm going to answer her last question first. So this is also another reason to buy from KEK insurance brokers. So the reason this is because as brokers we actually have professional indemnity policies. So if you buy insurance from me and I place your business with insurance company A, and insurance company A folds and you have a claim and I can't get you your claim, my company is liable to pay for that. It's a system that was introduced in the insurance sector. Even insurance companies they are the ones who normally, because of some kind of an issue, if you go to court and they are found to be negligible or liable, they would have to pay. But brokers, we have $1 million insurance professional indemnity policy. We've never had to claim on it, touch wood, but it gives a level of security around that. And you're right, there's a little bit of skepticism. I feel like insurance has come from a dark place where people were dealt unfairly when it came to claims. But a lot of this is because you go direct, you don't understand. A lot of the insurance companies' first option, I hope there are no insurer here, is to not pay. And me as a broker, my first option is, how are you going to pay this? Like, what am I going to do to get you to make me look like a superhero in front of my customer? That's what we're going to do. So having a broker just feels like you have support in an area where you don't have expertise. It can be a lot of terms and conditions. Insurance companies like to pick the fine print. It's my job to make sure you know about the fine print. It's my job to ensure that the fine print doesn't go against your core operations or business. So yeah, another reason to pick a broker, to pick KEK. Oh, and the other question about cybersecurity, yes. A lot of the banks have cybersecurity. The difficulty, and I don't know if I can share the difficulty in cybersecurity. A lot of banks have to give off a lot of information to get cybersecurity insurance. Banks don't like you in their books. They don't like anyone having access to proper details of what's going on with monies. So it's a little difficult to sell cyber insurance. We're trying to get the National Insurance Commission to make it like required, because a lot of banks lose money through electronic means and they don't say anything. Because if they say anything, it raises eyebrows. People are a little bit uncomfortable, increases unrest. And if they share that with me and they have a policy and it's claimed, maybe it might be public as well. But these policies are available, yes.
Okay, so
yes. You guys are working me.
Hopefully, it's the last question. So my question is, I'm sure you probably would have an answer to this. Looking at the current economic situation with regards to inflation and all that, if I have an insurance, are my payments or claims going to be pegged against inflation rates, or I'm going to receive the money as it was the value that I put into the insurance?
This is actually a good question. I should have brought that up. So thank you so much. In your sector, it's quite important to insure your goods or services in dollars, because it maintains the value of the money. Like Maya was mentioning, importing, exporting, comes back, has to change it, she loses value. At the time of purchase, if you buy your policy in dollars, normally we would agree with a rate with the insurance company. So let's say you bought your policy today and the rate we agree with the insurance company, or the rate you are comfortable with paying, is, let's say, 11. When a claim happens, and if it's at the end of the year and the dollar has gone to 8, they will still pay you at 11. So they'll pay you we agree on a rate at the time, and that rate is fixed for the full year. So that's it. If it's in cities, you don't have to worry. I mean, if it's in cities, the problem here is during renewals this year, with everything that happened in 2022, we've had to go back to our clients to tell them to increase their sum assureds. Because if you insured your goods for 100,000 back then, today that 100,000 given to you may not be able to purchase the same worth of goods. So at renewal, we try to get all our clients to increase their sum assurance to be able to aid in sustainability. If there's a claim, at least you have enough to actually fix whatever the issue is. So that's the only way we can fix that.
Hi, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Deborah.
Deborah.
Yes, so I want to ask, in an instance where you insure your property against fire or flood, and over 5 years you've not had any claim, there's not been any risks, there's not been any problem, can I still claim part of my money?
Unfortunately, I'm sorry, no.
Oh.
You know, insurance is like susu. You know, back in the day, our parents, well, wait, let me get there. So back in the day, our parents used to, you know, everyone would donate a little bit, and then today you will get it. You know, next month you'll get this person. Insurance is like a pool of risk. So if you buy home insurance and I buy home insurance, and we all at this table buy home insurance. If one person's home is damaged, it's almost like all of us putting our money together is where she's able to get enough. Your home is $250,000. You're probably paying $2,000 for your premium. So all of us are paying $2,000. The pool only has about 6 of us, $12,000. If a claim comes, the insurance company has to fork out 250,000 cedis. So we're hoping that not everyone claims that yet, which is probability. This is one of the things I did at university, statistics, probability. Insurance is risk. We don't really know that it would occur, it would happen, but if she has a claim in that year, 1 out of 6, probability is the insurance company can probably afford it. If we all have a claim, we're all in big trouble. So this is where I think the SUSU understanding comes. It's more supporting your neighbor. You know, we're all paying for liabilities. Insurance as an industry wouldn't work if we didn't have the numbers. We wouldn't be able to introduce any new policy if only 5 of us could buy it. It just wouldn't work. So we can only introduce policies that we know a number of us would need for one reason or another. So the only area you can claim on premiums is for life insurance. So investment policies, that some of them maybe when you haven't claimed maybe for 5 years, they give you a percentage back. So in the life is more of a benefit policy. So life insurances, you are almost investing money, you benefit. But for general, you can't. You have to go right back to where you were before the claim happened. And if you can't claim, they can't give you anything on that. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Oh, yes, well, come on. It's really, so it's okay.
Hi, just a very quick question.
That's
My
fine.
name's Ken Summer.
Nice to meet you.
My intention is to run a wellness stroke fitness company, inviting people from outside of Ghana to come into Ghana to travel and also to take part in fitness. I'm thinking that I need them to have their own private insurance for any group activities, if they fall off the bike or whatever there is. As a company, public liability will be included, but am I now going to have to pay extra premium to cover those sports as well?
So if your company is inviting them, your company would have to have a public liability policy for any damages or any accidents or injuries that may occur that may happen to the team. They can have private insurance. So if something happens to them here, I have a private medical insurance, but it also includes like an air ambulance. So if I was to have a stroke today, touch wood, I'd be able to be airlifted. I'd be able to be treated abroad. So you can have there's so many different types of policies. So for my father, unfortunately, had a stroke and passed away 12 years ago. And I can tell you that private medical, international medical insurance is what saved mine and my siblings' lives. You can't believe the fear. So especially for a foreigner who gets into a really tough situation on this side of the world, I think having private international medical whilst they take this trip, I don't know how vigorous or what kind of risks they face during their travels, but for a lot of them, the comfort of going back to their home country to get treated, should anything critical occur, we normally get that. So from that side, we normally get private international medical, and you can have that. Yes. Well, so that isn't enough because it only covers treatment outside of the country. There's one insurer in South Africa, Oracle Med, so their policy is a little different. That's actually the policy I have. The policy is a little different because it covers some outpatient cost in Ghana. So outpatient means when you just go to the hospital consultation, they give you prescriptions, but the bulk of the policy is inpatient. So if I get into surgery or if I have something critical happens to me and I need that. But I support that with a local insurance policy because that portion of the local outpatient is so small. And for me to be able to keep my premiums quite low, I'd rather they take that off and then buy local health insurance for them. So they can use that in case of any small issues, malaria, mosquito bites, so on and so forth. Then they can actually go to a local hospital here.
Thank you. So would you believe, clap for Cookie. Clap, 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 clap. So this little lady had the cheek yesterday while I was fretting over the fact, as you can see, I have no false lashes on because my lash lady was busy and I was having a panic. And Cookie was like, I'm so shy. Tanisha, can we talk about it? I'm so shy. I'm like, Madam, I have no lashes on my... And look at you. And remember, she said, hopefully I don't penalize her for going over 8 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
Did anyone notice that was longer than 8 minutes? But I felt like because she was so shy and she thought she wouldn't be like a duck to water with this, she just needed to have the time. And also, you guys seem so engaged, and I feel like
thank you so much. You guys really made me feel so. Thank you. Really, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, your questions were amazing, and they're really poignant. And also, the food looks so good. So, luckily, I am not. Wait, don't go anywhere, girl. We got a competition to run. Luckily, I'm not moderating the next panel. The next panel has been moderated by Harriet. She's amazing. Harriet is actually the queen of diplomatic affairs. She actually is the one person in this country that gets to interview all the diplomats. Not only does she get to interview them, they're all pending her interview call. They're all like anxiously waiting. So excited to have Harriet. And so she's going to do the next panel for us. But before that, I did tell you guys about a little competition. I did have you send your cards forward. So I think the best thing I can do is show you what you entered. And then I promise to close my eyes when I pull the first card. So 1 second. Do you not open it? Yeah. Hold on. So we have this. So these are headphones for people who like the big headphones. I love the big
Zoom,
headphones.
These days, Zoom calls. So these are all KUK souvenirs.
So they're KUK souvenirs, branded headphones, and they do the whole folding thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of us do a lot of calls via
Like that.
Zoom these days, but you still want to maintain some privacy. So a lot of our cherished customers got this, and I already cherish you guys. So I brought a few gifts for you guys.
They also have AirPods.
These are AirPods.
Have you heard of AirPods? I mean, I thought I like things. Like, as in my company, we're always making things. But we've never made AirPods, had AirPods.
Battery pack.
It's a battery pack and AirPods, guys. It's a battery pack and
Really,
AirPods.
really cool.
Wow, right?
We know you guys are on the go ladies. So, yeah.
Right?
And we're
Okay.
pretty cool firm, so.
Then over to number 3.
Okay, so this is actually a subsidiary of KEK Insurance Brokers. So this is the penultimate reinsurance broking firm in Ghana. Also the number 1 reinsurance firm in Ghana. It's a sister company, and it's actually run by my big sister. So I asked her if she could give me a gift. So this is a diary, a mouse, a USB, and the USB is covered with our company's core values. And then I think you have a pen. So
look at that, guys. Look at that.
This is how we normally celebrate our
These
clients
people, they
at
like
Christmas.
things. I'm even doing like it's an auction. I should get a
And
job in an
anyone
auction.
who wins,
look here, everybody.
anyone who wins first can pick any one of the gifts that they would like. Because it's very hard to kind of figure out which, maybe number 1 for me might not be number 1 for you.
So my favorite part about this is that you see the Rubik's Cube, there's like 3 boxes. And then when you turn it, it's a USB, right? Did you hear that? She said, oh. It's magical. Okay.
And the last one is, it's a diary, pen, a speaker, and like a little speaker, and a battery pack as well. So that's it.
So no.
Oh, sorry.
I'm enjoying my job. Trying to make me unemployed. Well, exactly. You see that? You hear that? Wow. That's what I do this for. That's why I come to work.
Pick.
So, pardon? She said, close my eyes. I think that there are enough observers here to make sure that I cannot cheat because I'll probably get attacked. The health and wellness go right out the window. So she's going to do the shaky. So which prize are we going for in this one? I need you guys to help me. Are we going for the AirPods?
What they like. So whoever you call should come.
Oh, you want them to pick what they like?
Whatever you like. If you're called and you come first,
Oh my
serve.
God, I want to come to this event more
AirPods
often.
might be good for you, but if you have AirPods, you don't really want that. Maybe you want a diary. So first come, first serve.
Okay, first come, first serve. Are you ready? Am I allowed? Yeah. Okay, where's my hand going? Yeah. Did I win?
Amira Awofa Deju.
Amira, where's Amira? Where's Amira?
If she's not here, it's gonna go in 3.
Amira.
Okay.
Hey, see? You see, this Ghana timing served you well, eh? Woo! So which one are you gonna pick? I mean, it's not obvious to us, so you should let us know. Oh, you didn't see on the TV? Oh, so there's this one with an iPad, a power bank, speakers, and pen. That's a planner. There's also this one with a, you know, these people on this side are like, you didn't even see it and you're winning it. They're not impressed. Are you impressed? Me, I'm not impressed personally. This is a planner, but this one's cute. It's got like diagonal bits on it. And it comes with a USB, a pen, keyring, and a mouse. Then there's the AirPods. And the AirPods are also a power bank. You're spoiled for choice. So, yeah, it's also a power bank and it's AirPod headphones inside. And then there's the big headphones, if you like the big headphones. Like these ones? Okay, so you must, I know what you have to do. I think that you have to turn around. Yeah, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Keep spinning. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I'm trying to stop you from wanting this one. Okay, take the one you want.
That's the one she wants.
That's the one everybody wants. Congratulations. Was it Amara?
Okay, so I'm gonna go
Amira?
around for randomly. Anyone can pick the rest
So
of
thank
them.
you to Kiki.
Last one, but I'm gonna ask two random. Yes, do you want to pick one? Yeah.
Yeah, don't look.
No, don't. Not pick yours.
All right.
Okay, the next one, let's pick a business card.
Mary A. Deborah. Ah, woo.
Who wants to select the next one while Mary decides? You? Okay. No, you can't look. So you have to look away. Look away. Go quick. Look away.
Wait. Okay, so Mary's got the big headphones.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mary. Well done. Whoop, whoop.
Next one.
This is not a business card.
Number one. No,
What is-
come on.
Maya.
Maya Yadam.
Yeah, that's Maya.
Okay, Maya, what do you
I
want?
think she deserves
I'll bring
it.
it to you. What do you like?
Right?
I'll bring it to you. So
Which
there's
one
the
do you
blue
want?
one and the
The blue box or the AirPods?
Yeah. Okay.
Woo!
Oh, okay. Good.
Now the last one.
Last one.
No, the last one. I'm
Please
so
pick
sorry.
a
No, the last
proper-
one's coming
pick a
from.
proper
The
card.
last one's a ladies entrepreneurship club quiz question. Sorry, can't do randoms.
Okay. All right.
This is important. Has everyone actually been to our website? Who has not been to our website? Has not. Hey, it's bad. Oh, it's really bad. Who has been to our website? Because a lot of you purchased. Good, 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 good. So our website is ladiesentrepreneurshipclub.com. Okay. What is the price of our boot camp? It's one price, but 3 schedules. What's the price of our boot camp? Website or not today's offers. Google, go to the websites. First person to shout out the price of our boot camp. It's one price, 3 schedules.
Sorry, before we continue, car number GN233818. It's a Nissan Kicks, box Kicks. Nissan, please, you're blocking the way.
Is that anyone here? Okay. Does someone have the answer to the price of our boot camp?
Black Nissan.
It's no one here. It must be there. Yep. What's the price? $1,050.
Hi, there's a black
Now,
Nissan.
if Mpo managed
There's
to
a black
convince
Nissan GN2338.
Kiki, you're using a microphone, my love. It's okay. You seem very comfortable with it for someone that was shy this morning. Where was I? Yes, it is. And so the offer that Impo has got us doing for our launch offer is obviously very good because that's 1,000 in cities, not in dollars. Our prices on the website are in dollars. Please don't forget. So yes, that's correct. And so yes, you win the last prize. So Alexis. Merix.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Really, really
you.
appreciate all of your questions. Thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you, Cookie. Okay, so just so you're aware, we do have more prizes, and a lot more questions will come from the website. And the main reason is because it's a new website. So if you've been with us this whole time, we've had a totally different website, totally different vibe, totally different style. And so I'm kind of trying to convince you to go on my website with Deploy Your Free Gifts. You see, I am definitely a school teacher. So at some point, make sure you get on there because next up, I'll be asking questions related to our club memberships. All right. So I think that it's time I give this back to Perlin. Perlin, Perlin. Perlin. Yes, I think it's time for panel number 2.
Thank you very much. And I know that there's no takeaways from the insurance session because I saw all the questions and comments that were coming. So thank you for that. I know that many of you will be thinking differently when it comes to risk after that session. So thank you again, Cookie, for the brilliant session. And I can see many of you are busy with your mouths eating some tasty jollof rice. Ghana jollof, right? Oh, is it? Okay, so the next person we have, the next session is actually a panel, and it's going to be facilitated by our very own Queen Harriet, who will be joining us up here shortly. Now, Harriet is really experienced when it comes to journalism, and specifically journalism when it comes to diplomacy. So she, Tanisha mentioned before, she's interviewed diplomats and really relevant international personalities. And she's one of the key spokesperson when it comes to international relations and diplomacy. So she's going to be facilitating our next panel discussion. And she also has the pleasure of introducing the panelists who will be joining us for that session. So our second panel discussion is up now, and I hope you're enjoying the session so far. So let's give a round of applause for Harriet as she joins us.
Thank you so much, Perlin. Hello, good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, ladies. I love your energy. I love our energy, and I am so happy to be part of this initiative. This is the first time I am joining you. I understand it is the second edition organized by our beautiful superwoman, Miss Tego, Tanisha. And I am so happy to be part of this event. And I also get to meet all the amazing women from all kinds of backgrounds and people to learn from. And for you to be here, let's be very happy to be here because we are resilient, we are strong, we all have our stories to tell. We all have things that we might have gone through that have strengthened us. We are unique, we are beautiful, and we are super amazing in our own ways. And so for that, let's give it up for ourselves. We are super women. We are super, super, super women to be here. I am happy to be here again because it's a fine opportunity for me to learn about the wellness and, you know, entrepreneurship. Really, I am not much informed when it comes to this area. So I am so excited because I get to learn something new. I get to talk to a crop of people or women from a different space altogether. So when I meet other people from outside, I can also share whatever that I might have learned from you with them. So it's a privilege for me to be sharing this space. I have some amazing women who will be joining me for us to have this conversation. We will be doing succeeding in the wellness space or the wellness industry. And like I said earlier, I am so curious to learn more in this space. I know I have been introduced already, but let me also use the opportunity to sell what I do because that is how it's done. So my name is Harriet Nate. I am a journalist. I like to talk. I talk for a living. That's how I put food on the table. So I do it so well. And I'm always learning. We are the first to have introduced a platform that focuses on happenings when it comes to issues around diplomacy and international relations. There are all kinds of programs out there on our screens. And we realized that this particular area was not really pushed or brought to the doorsteps of the people. So we thought we should explore further. And that also pushed me to acquire my master's degree in international relations and diplomacy a few weeks ago from GIMPA. So at least, thank you. At least I can rub shoulders with the likes of you when I meet you. So I think this is going to be super exciting. So yes, we have diplomatic affairs, shows on Pan-African television. We are all about integration on the African continent. We are all about Africanism. We are all about Africans in the diaspora. We are all about holding accountable the people whom we have sent out there to go and work on our behalf. So we are talking about ambassadors from other countries and Ghana missions abroad as well. So we get to find out, really, we are paying them and what are we paying them for? So we get the opportunity to ask them, are you just resting in America with your family and friends, or you are working on behalf of the country? Because I'd like to know, we have so many visa issues, we have so many administrative issues which are not resolved. Sometimes you call them, they don't even answer their phones, and then they'll give you all kinds of excuses. So when we get them on the show, we inquire from them what they are doing. I would say we hold them accountable. We've had the privilege of speaking with the US ambassador, the European Union, Kenya. You know, I told Leah is from Kenya. I met her a few minutes ago and I told her, oh, I've had the privilege of speaking to your High Commissioner right here in Ghana. So please watch out for diplomatic affairs. Next time, who knows? And then of course, diaspora issues. We can talk about so many things. I'm already thinking of putting this wellness entrepreneurship, finding a place and tying it with diplomacy and international relations, and even looking at ways where we can talk directly to the people who can connect us to the other side when it comes to marketing and getting to meet other people to network, share ideas, and partner in that area. So there's so much that I think we can do, you know, sitting here for a few hours. I will discuss that with the people who are making this happen so we can explore. Let me invite my... So I have Erica M. Danielle. Erica, yes, could you please join me here, Erica? Thank you so much. I will just mention their names. They will take their seats and they will further introduce themselves to us and tell us what they do so we can start our conversation. And I have Diana Cooper. Diana, are you here? Can we please have you join us? Yeah. Crystal Joy Williams. Is Crystal here? Crystal is not here. So we have Linduwe Mutungamiri. Is she here? Linduwe? All right. Let me see if I have Catherine Morton. Catherine. Right, so we are waiting for you, Catherine. I'm sorry, did I pronounce your last name right? Could you help me get it right?
Mutungamiri.
Okay, that's nice.
Again?
I'll leave it there.
Try again.
Come again, should I?
Mutungamiri.
Motogamili. Right. Thank you so much. It's okay. They can sit down. All right, so car number GS 2049 21. What color? Is that ash? Yeah, but that's what color? Kia. Okay.
It looks like a bronzy kind of silvery kind of color. I don't know. But it's a Kia.
All right, so please step out and then move it for us. You good? Thank you so much. So I have Erica. I have Diana. Catherine is here. And Lindy Way is here as well. Right, so I have been given the task of exploring the topic succeeding in the wellness space. Succeeding in the wellness space. We are waiting for Catherine to join us. Let me give microphone to Diana. I'll start from there. Hello, Diana.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Many happy returns.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Great. We are here to explore the topic succeeding in the wellness space or industry. I'm sure you can help us do that.
Of course, definitely.
Right. Let's learn about you. Who are you?
Okay. My name is Diana Cooper. I'm a master trainer for Be Fit for Life. I'm a nutritionist and just to excite all of you women, I'm a sex therapy. I'm a physio. You know, just to make it more exciting because you are listening to too many businesses and you forget you are women. And come on, business without sex is nothing. You need both. So, nah. So yes, it's not about my degree or how much I have accomplished or achieved. It's more about how am I a service to you or to my clients to say. So I try to advance myself as much as possible. So as a fitness instructor, God forbid, if you happen to injure yourself, I have to be there to make sure you don't injure yourself. And if you do, I should be there to help you to recover safely. That's why I did the physio. Secondly, most of the women put on weight because of self sustain or extain or wherever you may call it. So you are nice, young, and beautiful, and then you decided to get married because you feel you have to be married for the society. And when you get married, you start having children, you put on so much weight, you go to work, you come home, you cook, and you don't realize that life is more to that. You just stick yourself into a panel where you feel like if your husband go out and have an affair, you become fat. If you if your husband look at a girl, you eat too much. I'm sorry, I'm bold, and that's me. I don't hide the fact from you. So I went into sex therapy because in that way, most of my clients are not confident in themselves. They feel like they put on weight, they have to take care of the children, they have to help their husband bring money home, and they forget the beauty is not in the physical being, it's inside of you. So most of my clients, I also lock in the advantage of being a jungle in bed. And that's why I went into sex therapy, because with that way, I can help them to help me help them again. So then I also do massages and what else? Yeah, I like life.
It's very obvious. Well,
Bravo.
thank you so much,
You're
Diana.
welcome.
Please pass the microphone to Lindy Way. Lindy Way, let's get to know you more.
She's so cool. Hello. I haven't succeeded in the wellness space yet. I just graduated from college, bachelor's in computer science from Ashesi. Yes, and when I was in college, I realized that a lot of my friends were suffering from depression and anxiety. And as an overachieving student myself, it was a bit weird when I talk to people and then I'm like, oh, hey, I'm depressed, or I really don't feel like going to class. If I spoke about that outside of my university, it was a bit uncomfortable. And I remember trying to find therapists here in Africa. It was really, really difficult. So I would end up booking therapists in the US who probably didn't understand how we deal with mental health as Africans.
So what I started doing was running mental health campaigns across the school. I joined the guidance and counseling department, assisting freshmen, onboarding them into the university culture, just being there for people or for my friends who wanted somebody to confide into. And because I was in the computer science space and I love technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, I started a company called Lead Africa when I was in my sophomore year with the guidance and counseling department at my school. And what we've basically done is to build a mobile app that is powered by AI and machine learning algorithms to connect wellness service providers with the college students. That's our market so far because that's what I understand. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Lindy Way. Please hand it over to Catherine. Hello, Catherine.
Hi, my name is Catherine Watson. I am the managing partner for a sports company. I think it's whenever someone asks me, what do you do? And I'm like, I run a sports company. In Ghana, it's like so random. They're like, really? Yeah. So we run Millennium Marathon. It's Ghana's first internationally certified half marathon. And we also have a tennis side to what we do, where we provide tennis coaching to a lot of schools in Ghana, but also particularly women. So we run an initiative called She Plays GH, where we try to bring women who are trying to learn how to play tennis together, to learn, but also to play with each other, because we realized there was a gap with a lot of women who wanted to learn or play sports. Either they were shy or they didn't feel comfortable because it was always men. They didn't have any other women to play with. So that's why we started that initiative. And then we also have a marathon for kids between the ages of 3 to 15, which is called the Kiddie Mile Race, which is actually also something that is quite unique. And we run across 50 schools in Ghana. So in a nutshell, this is what I do.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Hi, Erica.
Hi. Okay, hi everyone again. And if you were here earlier, I was able to host you during the networking side, but I'm super excited to be on this panel and to share with you all a little bit more about what I do. So again, my name is Erica Daniel, and I am an intimacy coach. As an intimacy coach, I work with individuals to deepen their emotional and physical relationships, not just with partners, but within the entire context of the world. And the reason I say that is because when you go to work, you spend most of your time with your colleagues, but you will really be surprised to see how the most vulnerable side of who you are shows up in that environment. You'll also start to notice that things that transpired in your youth or your childhood, or maybe from your years of exploring your sexuality, how that resurfaces in your current relationships. So I really help you dive in and explore what's happening inside, how is that showing up outside, and how do you really become one with your true authentic self. Now, a lot of people are like, ooh, kind of like Diana was saying, she's on the sex therapy side, you know, like, woo, shake it, do it. But how can I do this? How can I do that? Show me how to swing my leg to the left and right. And I'm like, well, show me you can walk first. And so a lot of it does boil down to how do you help anybody increase their confidence in knowing that they belong in an intimate space, and that what they want, what they desire, and how they want to show up deserves to be stated, deserves to be appreciated, and deserves to be shown to the world.
Thank you so much, Erica. Let's give it up. Ladies, now let's begin our conversation. Let me state that I am not good at doing things on my own. I will need all of you here, your energy and your support. So you are going to be participating in this conversation. If you have questions, we will take the questions. What I have, bullet points that I've just put together that I'm going to be asking them. So if you have questions, you know somebody who might be going through anything, please, we have the experts here. They can help us. I couldn't relate to sex therapist. I was like, okay, now that's very new to me. I've never heard of anything like that. Yeah, chanced on a few articles, read them, but really, like, I've never been bothered to explore this particular area. So that's very interesting area. And then I can relate to, of course, the tech lady, you know, Lindy Way, of course, we all can relate. And then sports, I'm taking some tennis lessons, Catherine, because I just want to, you know, be able to run and all of that. Then we have intimacy coach. I was like, okay, now this is even more interesting. Now, the topic is succeeding, or how to succeed in the wellness space. Let me begin with how is sex therapy even part of the entire wellness, you know, space, like thing? How is it?
Hi. Okay. First of all, I own a gym. I'm a fitness instructor for the past 13 years. And I'm a master trainer. I own a gym at Airport Residential called Be Fit for Life by Diana Cooper. So also what you don't realize, what people don't tell you, they say exercise and be healthy. Most of the time, people are looking for the outer being, and they forget the inside of the beauty. So, taking into consideration, I want to be skinny. Everybody wants to be skinny, but not everybody can be skinny. If you have a big bone, you will always have a big bone, but you could be an artist of your body. Your body can be an art, because fitness is an art. Sex is an art. When you exercise, you have that feeling of having sex all the time. That's what people don't realize, but it's true. The sexiness of fitness is an art. So fitness is not about being skinny. You can have somebody who can run more than you, and she can be 3 times your size. Don't underestimate her. So yes, sex and fitness, they go together. In a wellness vein about succeeding in as a fitness instructor, or as a sex therapy, or as a nutritionist, or everything, it's about bringing out that beauty that is within you. You are very beautiful, but you are full of doubt, because, girl, there will always be somebody prettier than you, richer than you, taller than you, get those beautiful smile, those beautiful eyes. So when you do meet a beautiful lady, tell her, you look beautiful. Because at the end, you are telling yourself, so how do I succeed? And what is the relationship with sex and fitness? When you exercise, you bring out that artistic animal that is in you. It's like going on ice water. So you have an ice water and you pour it on your head, not your face, and then you shiver. Like, girl, when you exercise and you have sex, that's the results of coming.
Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Diana. Thank you. I'll come back to you. So please unleash that artistic animal in you. That's the message we are getting from Diana. Thank you so much, Diana. We'll come to you. I think that explains it very well. I can now relate because I do know some friends who have had counseling sessions with a few experts in this particular area. And I think they were having issues with their sexual lives and everything. And then they had to see an expert to advise, counsel them on what to do. So I do really admit that exercising is key when it comes to our sexual lives as well. So we'll come to Lindy-Way. Lindy-Way, you talked about tech. You talked about your passion for helping others solve depression, and this is all under the wellness, umbrella The bigger umbrella is wellness. It's all under it. Let's talk about, for me, I'm very curious because I want to talk about this generation, the younger generation, you know, how internet savvy they can be, or whatever they call them, generational, whatever they call them. They pick information quickly. Now, if we are talking about wellness, this means that wellness is not just reflected on the outside. We are talking about mental healthness. We are talking about emotions. We are talking about the things, the intangibles, the thing, I like to term them the intangibles, the things that we take for granted. So let's talk about how important it is for us to merge these two. As in, if you go on the internet, how can we even make it more appealing for people to want to easily access information when it comes to wellness on the internet?
Thank you for your question. Something about my generation that I really love is that we talk a lot. We talk a lot about our feelings. We talk a lot about the things that we want to achieve. But I don't think we do really understand the whole concept of mental health. I don't think we pause enough to actually internalize and conceptualize what it is exactly that we're feeling. You date somebody, and then within 1 week, I'll ghost you, and then I'll start dating somebody else. Before I process what happened in the last relationship, I'm in another relationship. And then I end up dealing with so many issues, and I don't even remember where everything started from, right? You then go to class, your grades are not going up, and then you're like, but I'm reading. But then there are so many things that are going on in your mind that you didn't take the time to pause and to think about. So that is also one of the reasons why I started LIT while I was in college. Hey guys, let's pause. Let's think about what it is exactly that we're feeling. And because we are always on our phones, we used to do sticky notes around campus, like write a nice message to somebody else. But then people don't even like going out of their rooms in the first place. So then we started doing the campaigns digitally. So because I understood that most of the people that are in college are always on their phones, that means some of them are not comfortable going out to access a therapist. So I was like, okay, so how do we make sure that there's a one-stop shop platform where these students or these people can meet all of these wellness service providers? The beautiful thing about the platform that we have built is that it is for all wellness service providers. So if I'm in college and I need a sex therapist and she's listed on the platform, I can just go click on her name. We can have a video call. We can have a chat. And we can even, what's it called? Go to a place and then we can meet. I guess the short answer to your question is that because we are always on our phones, we created this platform. You don't want to go out to meet a therapist. You can be in your room, you can be on your bed, and then you can just talk to a wellness service provider.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lindy Way. Thank you. I'm told someone has a question for you, but we'll take the questions right after this segment so they can also participate. Now, Catherine, let's talk about sport. Where some of us come from, we see certain things as, not too important. Like, this can wait. I want to do this. I mean, this is for the rich people, I don't really have the time to do this, I have a friend, when I started taking tennis training lessons, she said, oh, this is for the rich people, what are you doing? And I said, but who told you I'm poor? Yeah, because I don't think, first off, I didn't see it like that. I thought I wanted to exercise, and upon consultation, I was asked, what would you like to do? I said, oh, I like to run, jump. And then I went through the process and I said, oh, okay, once I've been given the green light to do so, I guess I can now get to the court. And for me, it's also good for networking because of where I find myself. So it's strategic at the same time. Why should we sports saying? I mean, if I want to do sports, why I can just stretch my bones in my room, wake up, and why is it so important when it comes to wellness? I know it's not just limited to the physical aspect of us, but it also has this mental attachment when it comes to how we think and all of that. So please take us through why this is so important.
Yeah, I think that your question is on point. And I would say so for actually the entire wellness and health industry. Because when you're coming from an economy that is struggling, an economy where majority of the people are thinking about food on the table, health, wellness, sports, anything that is not seen to be fundamentally connected to what I'm eating, it always takes a back seat, and it's something that is not on the minds of people. So people in the wellness industry struggle. It's an industry for me that is growing, that has room for improvement, but I always see it not just in wellness, but a lot of industries are linked to the economy in which you are. So if you have an economy that is flourishing, you will see that certain industries will do well. Hospitality will be doing better. Wellness will be doing better. And so it's always on the entrepreneur, the person who is in the business, to try and find ways and creative ways of engaging people and letting people understand why it is important that you take up sports. So for example, you're asking me, why is it important for me to play tennis? So example, okay, I want to lose weight, I want to be fit, but at the same time, I want to socialize. Like you said, I want to meet people. Tennis is a great way to socialize and meet people. But true, it's expensive. Sports is not cheap. Wellness is not cheap. If you want to use a good, you want to take care of your skin, you have to pay for it. But as an entrepreneur, how do I make it accessible to women? So I said to myself, right now, and if you want to play tennis, you have to go and buy a racket. It's expensive. You have to buy tennis balls.
I still haven't bought mine yet.
Yes. You have to go and sign up on a court. You have to take up membership and pay. And looking at the salaries of an average Ghanaian, many people can't afford it. So the entrepreneur in me says, how can I make people love tennis and not spend so much? So that's how we came up with She Plays GH, where we acquire the rackets. So you can come and play tennis. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to buy membership, because our company has gone into partnership with a lot of the courts in Accra. And so we have absorbed your membership fee. So all you have to do is to sign up and show up. And because we have the strength in numbers, the financial burden is spread across all members. So you are not taking the full cost of it. And so that makes it appealing. Plus, I know that when I'm coming, I'm going to meet other ladies to play with, because now if you go to most of the courts in Accra, it's 95% men. Women feel intimidated because physically they cannot match their peers. I want to enjoy the game and play with someone who's at the same level as me. So that is how the entrepreneur's, mindset comes in, to solve a problem, but at the same time trying to make a business for yourself. I'll also look at the marathon, for example. I remember the first time I ran a marathon outside Ghana, and I told my friends I'm going for a race in Mauritius. They're like, you're actually paying to go and run a race? Or even with Millennium Marathon, people are like, why do I have to come and pay money to come and run? It doesn't make sense. But then it took the education, explaining to people at the basic level, telling people who are not runners, telling the average woman who works in a bank that, oh, you can actually come with your kids. It's like, look at it like a day out with your family to exercise. That actually appeals to someone who is not even a fitness person, to come out and participate in a 5K walk or run with her family. And that's how you get to find new ideas to sustain a business in an environment where naturally it wouldn't be the first or the go-to for everyone.
Interesting. Ladies, I hope you are preparing your questions, because we'll be throwing all the questions at them very soon. I will go to Erica. Erica, intimacy coach. Okay, intimacy coach. Erica, please. Now, explain to me why it is important for anyone to engage an intimacy coach. What is that in detail, and why it is important for me to invest in an intimacy coach? Is that really important?
It's beyond important. So, show of hands. Who in this room has ever been in a relationship? Who in this room has ever had a failed romantic relationship? Who in this room felt crippled by a heartbreak once upon a time? Who in this room works with other human beings. Okay, who has children? Who has parents? Who has siblings? Do you get the point? If there's anything in this life that you do that includes or incorporates another human being, you ultimately need intimacy coaching. Now, Harriet was asking why. Why does that matter? As an intimacy coach, I mostly work with couples, but I also work with individuals. I work with men. I'm going to use the Ghanaian context. I work with Ghanaian men because oftentimes there's a lot of pressure societally, culturally, traditionally that's placed on their shoulders, but they have no place to take their real emotions because they feel like I can't go to my wife because she won't understand when I come to tell her that, hey babe, actually this month things are looking really tight. My parents are wanting this. We still owe the kids fees for this, da da da. So instead, he works harder because he's been taught the harder you work, the more you provide, the stronger you look. Expand your network. Do what it takes. But there's no space or room for him to just be human, right? Let alone he's a firstborn child and his father is deceased. This man has nobody to go to show any sign of weakness. Let alone he has so much anxiety, so much fear, so much tension inside of him. It's like people perceive him to be weak the one time he tried to share his true emotions. So imagine if you bring that man into your space and he's now in a failing relationship with his wife, not because he doesn't love her, not because her body has changed from having 3 children, not because they've decided to upscale their home or buy a new car or invest in somebody else's business, and maybe the economy situation we see right now is starting to fold or show that, hey, what we projected isn't reaching that. But because of the stress, and there's no vulnerability, there's no space for that vulnerability in a relationship. So when that couple comes to me, when that man comes to me, I help him to identify what are the real triggers in your life that are keeping you from showing up in an intimate space for your family, your wife, your children. Then when we bring that wife in, we do the same conversation, right? But how do you bring them back into love? How do you bring them back into sync? Because once they're able to be reconnected, reunited, to understand each other's core purpose and why they are there, the sex will automatically become more dynamic. The connection will automatically become more dynamic. The things that turned you off before are turning you on, because now you know, okay, when I wake up in the morning, my man actually likes it when I rub his head. And I haven't done that since we dated. I didn't know that that was something he enjoyed. And he hasn't been able to ask for it because the only thing he hears you saying as a wife is, you don't do this, you don't do that. I need more of this, I need more of that, right? Now transition it to the entrepreneur woman. I'm running my business. I'm managing the kids. I don't have finances for this. I'm trying to do this. Your mother's calling me. My mother's calling me. Da, 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 da. And you have everything coming full speed. Boom, 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 boom. But maybe you're the type of person that you really need to take time when you make a decision. Making a decision on the fly is really hard for you. But everything just keeps coming. Boom, 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 boom. And so everybody looks at you, they think you're a bad boss because you're just constantly exploding. You didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't write this well, you didn't do that well, right? Or when your children come, mommy, I need help with this, you just walk out the room. Okay, go to the nanny or da 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 da. And none of these are bad things, right? Because shame is something that is produced way too much in the environments that we also operate in. Shame is a construct of destruction. And so we need to really push against what people try to propel and to project on us as shame. So this woman is doing her best, but yet the things are coming faster than she can process. But nobody has given her the space to even understand why she needs that time to process, what that means for her, how it impacts her ability to connect, how it impacts her ability to show up sexually, how it impacts her ability to just feel in love with who she is, right? Because her attachment style is one that requires space. And in that space, she's able to assess. In that space, she's able to self-regulate and bring herself back to a place of peace. So when you have these different things happening, but there's no one there to help you show that, oh, it's just this. You only need to talk about this with each other. You need to touch her hand more. That helps her feel secure in that moment. You need to hug him more. Do you hear what he's asking for? Helping people have these conversations to really bring them back into touch with each other. Now, how does it relate to yourself? As an individual, we all have an idea of how we want to be loved, right? But where do we hold that? Inside. So if nobody has ever given you the freedom to state what you want, to say, I want you to throw me against the wall and pull my hair. You know, you were saying earlier, the animalistic stuff, you know, yeah, that's my jam too. Pull my hair, you know, rip it off, and like, bring it. You know, here, a woman can't say that to, I can't say that to him. Yeah, it's what I want, but I can't say that. You know, he'll think I'm too known. He'll think I'm this. And it's like, baby, say it. Say it with me first so you feel comfortable and you can see what it feels like coming out of you. Even me, when I say it, I start to... Because that's what matters for me. Now, for you, it could be like, I like it when you kiss me softly here. And you may even start shaking. My hands are like, yeah. So, you know, so working with an intimacy coach helps you actualize what intimacy is right for you. It helps you deal with your trauma. It helps you deal with your triggers. It helps you deal with your attachment style. It helps you learn how to ask for what matters to you.
Wow. Okay. Am I the only one who is blown away? Obviously not. All right. So I'm told we don't have much time. I think we can open the floor now for questions. We should have about 3-4 questions. Who can we start with? I'm sure. Yes, right. So I'm going to give you the microphone so you can just go straight away.
Thank you. Linway, is that correct? Okay. I'm a psychotherapist, and I actually have a mental health practice that I run virtually. So I'm from the States. My practice is based in the States. And I'm here like doing education and advocacy around mental health. And so I heard you say that the students had challenges finding therapists. And one of the things I'm looking to do is really to, you know, kind of put together therapists here, kind of collaborating with therapists here who understand the different, you know, the challenges here as well as abroad, right? Because I know many students are abroad, there's some here, and you know, and so forth. And so I know there's some challenges there. What was the challenge that you all faced finding therapists? And then also too, with your app, how do students pay for it? What is, you know, what is the process of payment? Do they pay out of pocket? Is it insured based or whatever? And then Catherine, do you have a golf group? Yeah, sports, golf. Because
No.
I'm looking to start a women's golf club. So those were okay.
Okay, so thank you so much for the questions. So the first one, what was the challenge? So the beautiful thing about Ashesi University is that we have a very strong guidance and counseling department. But then the issue is we only have 2 therapists serving the whole student body. So one of my main frustrations was when I went to talk to our therapist, she was always booked. So if I'm suicidal in this moment, I have to wait for about 2 days until I can get to her. So the main challenge was supply. So how do we make sure that our students have access to more therapists that are even outside of the university? The second thing is we are running a subscription-based model and we're only charging the university. So because we work with the guidance and counseling department at the university, we will be charging the school itself and the students get to use the platform for free. We are going to do something with the Education Collaborative with the university as well in terms of mental health in Africa. So I would really love to continue the conversation with you after. Also, just to the audience, we are in the pre-seed round. We are raising funding for the platform. So if there are investors, please reach out to me and let's talk.
All right. Thank you so much, Lindy Wade. Questions? I believe we have families, friends. Anyone has any question that you want to ask? We have the sex therapist in the house. We also have the intimacy coach. And of course, we have the sports woman to help us. Yes. Sharing mine with you.
Hello, to my fitness coach, the lady was. Catherine. Yeah. Please, what if I'm into fitness?
Fitness and
too.
sex therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is based on fitness.
Yeah.
So what if I want to lose weight, not because I'm not confident in my body, and exercising doesn't do the deal? What's the other options I have?
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm not one of these coaches who, when they see you, they want your money and they tell you, oh, in 2 weeks or in 2 months, or in 1 month, you will lose weight. No, I don't do those stuff. I always say to my client, give me 2 weeks to train you. Based upon my training that I'm giving to you, I will see your reaction. Sometimes it's just the training you are doing wrong. Maybe everybody have a different type of training for the body type, you know, and sometimes you really need your nutrition to help you up. So being a nutritionist myself, I realize with most of my clients is that yes, they are not putting on weight because they are lack of sex. No, it means that they are not having confidence in themselves due to the society, the environment, the community, or even your relationship. So you can put on weight because, for example, you are stressed out some way, somehow with your job, with your husband, with the children. Maybe, you know, life can be really challenging and too much for you. So I will have to see why you are not losing weight and which type of exercise you are doing. So if I train you for 2 weeks, and it's possible within the 2 weeks you would have lost weight, and I will see you losing weight, and I'll tell you, okay, whatever you're doing, continue doing it. Just keep this exercise. Or I will see that, yes, you love to exercise, you have the motivation, you don't have the support, and you need the support because you are watching the DVD and watching the YouTube or something. Girl, those things are media. Don't get me wrong. But you need somebody there with you who is training with you. And what I do is that I don't show you, I train with you. So I always say, I'm not training you, we are training together.
Together.
So it depends. You can be stressed. It could be your diet. It could be your lifestyle. It could be so many things. So that's it. I hope that answer your questions.
Are we good? Okay, more questions. Right. So then I hope you are affordable because it seems like I'm interested.
Girl, you come. We'll talk about it.
Hello. Oh, hi. My name is Ahmad. I'm a relationship coach. So my question goes to the intimacy coach. So I recently moved to Ghana, and I was just wondering, how was you able to get clients within Ghana, and how did you overcome those challenges in being able to relate to Ghanaians and making it feel relevant that they need your services?
That's a brilliant question. So while I am Ghanaian, I've lived here for 9.5 years. So there's some familiarity with the context around culture and tradition, but I also don't stand in that place as an expert. The one thing I know when it comes to how we show up in relationships is it's universal. We all have emotions, we all have feelings, we all have desires. That doesn't change anywhere you go in the world. And so really, I'm just here to help you articulate what that is for you. A lot of the clients that I have come through word of mouth because it's definitely still a struggle to get people to realize or to know what the coaching is. So formerly I was a sex and relationship coach is what I was initially titled. That labeling does not work in Ghana because you say it to a man and the first thing he says is, when can we practice? And I'm like, yeah, you come on. I got a box of tissues waiting right there for you. Because, you know, they come in their first sessions, they mostly cry because nobody has actually ever given them the space to just listen. And so I've gone through a lot of criticism. I've been called a lot of names. There's a lot linked to it, especially because I also sell adult toys. So I am your harlot. I am your down and out girl. And I'd be like, oh, that's another one. Let me write that one down too. Yeah, I like that one too. And I would say, like, no matter what industry you're in, if it's something that's not widely explored or widely known, and you're doing it well, you're always going to be criticized. But know that when that criticism comes, it's because you're doing something right. And so you let it bounce off of you. So yeah, right now, largely word of mouth and a lot of connection. But I also do corporate trainings because you spend most of your time with your colleagues. So there are quite a few corporations who've been coming and asking me to lead trainings. And it's not sexual harassment or anything like that. It's literally like around how do we become more efficient? How do we capitalize on our time? And how do we work together? So how do we understand how to communicate with one another? How do we understand how we process differently so that we can work in better partnership together? And those are some of the most dynamic events, are those corporate trainings.
Thanks a lot for sharing. My name is Leah. Like I said, I teach yoga. And I remember having a conversation with someone and they were like, oh, in wellness, people don't make money. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I just wanted to hear from you guys, like, what do you do to make sure that you have that monthly recurring revenue? How are you pricing? What are your strategies to make this a full-time business? Because there is that conception that these are just hobbies and you have to have something else that you do that pays the bills.
So I'm going to share and then pass it down.
Right.
So I prioritize my fees. You can hire me for free. So I do individual sessions. I do group coaching. This year I'll be releasing some classes as well. But I didn't state this earlier, but I'm also faculty instructor where I was certified. So it's an institute based in California. So as a teacher, I also accrue a salary from doing that. But I think it's really important to diversify your offerings and to charge. Often as women, we don't charge. Charge. You can pay. You pay for this food. You pay for this event. You can pay.
I agree. I really agree with making sure you diversify. And also to know that with business, sometimes in the beginning, it's difficult. You might not be making profit. So I'll just use a marathon as an example. In the beginning, the first year when we held the marathon, we gave a lot of invitations for free because we were new. We had to get into the market. We need to make noise. We had to let people know we're there. And then when we started charging, people were like, oh, are you sure Ghanaians are going to pay? But when they came and they tested and they enjoyed and they saw the benefit they got from the marathon, people were now willing to part with money to participate. And it's gone on from there to the point where now we have, I would say, more people coming from outside now who are paying, and they're paying good money to participate than even those that we have here. So just understand that sometimes in the beginning, you're not going to be making money. It's good to test the waters, but you have to be consistent as well. Don't give up when you're not making money. Just keep doing what you're doing. Do it well. When people enjoy the experience, I'm sure through word of mouth and through other means, the business will come.
Okay, so for me, I got lucky, I think, because I just graduated and then I went straight into the entrepreneurship space. So my university runs something called the Ashesi Venture Incubator. They select 14 businesses that they support for a whole year. And as long as your business is in the incubator, you are paid like a monthly salary to work on your business. So it's like a good, yes. So I have a cushion and they're very supportive as well because I'm from Zimbabwe and I'm here in Ghana. So I get most of the support that I need from that. So hopefully once we launch this March, the business starts generating some income so that when we're out of the incubator, I can support myself after.
So how do I manage? I'm going to tell you my secret. Okay. You know, I'm a master trainer. I'm not a fitness trainer. In Ghana, most people feel when you can lift weight and you can pump your body, it means you're a fitness trainer. Now, there is difference between Chanel and Mokola Chanel. Okay,
Diana, I am so offended right
no,
now.
No. I wanted to put a smile on your face, and I saw that it worked. Okay, so there is difference between going economy class, sitting next to those guys with a smelly arm, and when they lift their arm or say hello to you, and they smell, and there is difference sitting in first class. You understand? Also, no. You are still smiling. You see, because you know it works. So what I do, I used to do a lot of charity work where I would go somewhere and do. For example, I used to be having a Saturday class at the aviation gym. For those who couldn't afford me, they would pay the aviation, for example, which was cheaper for their membership. And I would have a class on Saturday for 1.5 hours. I would train them, give them advices on nutrition and everything. They would insult me to say, oh, it is too hard, your class. The next Saturday, they would be there smiling with me, because I really kick asses when I train into fitness. I don't go down but in a good way where you don't injure yourself. So I do the fitness, I do the nutrition. I also does massages, and I am a therapy. My most specialist is for the knee. When you have problem with the knee, I am also there. So I don't depend on only the fitness or nutritionist or something. I try to see other ways that my qualification leads to, and I use that as an advantage to uphold myself. So when I have a client who is want to do personal training, I drive to your house, I come with everything, I train you there. When you finish, I have a special touch where I will massage your body to relax you. I will give you advice and all those things. And if you have problems or something, so that's how I manage to keep my customer, because I know how to treat them. So if you pay me for personal training, you get more than that. And I am so grateful to God that my clients become like my family. We become one society, because I go to them and, for example, they have little kids and the kids want to exercise. They don't want to leave. So instead of charging the man one price, the woman one price, I would charge one price to train a man and a woman and have fun with the kids and become Auntie Diana.
So that's a special package.
Yes. So in that case, that's how I manage. I hope it was okay.
Thank you so much, ladies. So Diana, thank you. Lindy, Catherine, and Erica. I think this is where we end this session, and we have more to come. So my great panelists, I'm super grateful to you for your time. And thank you so much for participating as well. I think we had fun. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much to our wonderful panelists. I saw some muscles on the edge there from the back where I was beginning to reassess my own workout capabilities. And I mean, I think that was a really insightful session. I could see that there were more questions. Unfortunately, we have to move along because we still have one more solo speech and then also a panel discussion coming up. So we want to keep things moving along. And our next pick, I know you want to talk already with the people that are on your table, but we have an exciting topic coming up, and this is a topic that traditionally many women tend to shy away from. Can you guess? Money and sales. Yes, we're going to talk about sales next. And our the next guest that we are having coming up is somebody who's been in sales for more than 13 years. She sold everything from tires. I mean, thank you, Kristen. She has more than 13 years of experience in sales and marketing, and she's mastered the art of sales. So she sold everything from cosmetics, security, charity, energy, private gym membership, beer, and tires, as I mentioned earlier. So we're going to welcome Minerva. She's going to give us a really short but snappy talk on how to optimize your sales as a business. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Are you still here?
because you've eaten your starters, you've had your mains, now you're eating dessert. I'm sure some of you probably feel a little sleepy. Yeah, okay, jump out your seat for just 1 minute. Jump up real quick, jump out, jump out, jump out. Very quickly, shake it off. Oh, okay, then I get hooked up as well. Ladies, you too, jump up real quick. Hello. Everybody. I want to make sure you're all alert. You're all attentive. Yes, we are not done.
I think they're suffering from the itis.
Yes, that's the exact reason why.
So up next is dessert, served with a piece of Minerva. I'm sorry. I try with my jokes. I'll get better with time. So yeah, little shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. I'm sure they do this in some wellness session somewhere, you know. All right, Minerva,
Okay,
over
thank
to you.
Take a seat. Thank you. So I guess what? In Ghana, usually by now they say good evening, right? I still say till 6 o'clock before I say, so I'll still say good afternoon. So just like she said, I'm Minerva Crenshaw. So now my time has been cut ridiculously short, so it's literally going to be bullet points that I'm going to have to give you. But we're talking about sales, okay? Now, what's the main reason why everybody gets into business? Because you may love what you do, you love what you have, the products, the service, but if it's not making you money, is there any point? No, right? So we're going to talk about a few points very quickly. Have I got your attention? Okay. We're going to talk about a few points very quickly that you can use just to help to optimize your sales. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to keep it brief. The first one is, do you know who your customer is? Right? If you identified who exactly your product or your service is for. Because you can have an amazing product, you can have an amazing service, but nobody knows about it, and you're not targeting your customers because you don't know exactly who it is that this product or service is for. So have you identified that customer? Now, once you've identified that customer, do they know you? Right? So just like Cookie came up earlier today, insurance is something we all know about, but if she did not come and talk about her product, being number one as well, I did not even know that. I did not know that she existed. But I am actually a customer for her. I'm a potential, right? Yeah, with all the business cards, all the details they collected. So I'm sure there's many of us in this room who have an amazing product, amazing service, and you have people out there who could be your customers who don't even know about you. Cool, so you have to identify your customer and then get yourself to your customer. So they have to know about you. Alrighty? Second one is, what's the customer experience? What does your customer have to go through to get to you? Okay, now we have a few diasporans in the building. And if I'm correct, sweetie, please remind me your name. Sherelle. Okay, she talks about how earlier with Ghanaians, you have to do a lot more work to get things done. So let's say, for example, you have a company, somebody will walk in and your staff is just sitting there like, okay. Literally, somebody's walked into your store ready to buy something and the person's there like, I don't care. If you buy, you don't buy. My madam will pay me. I don't care, right? But you have to make it into a system, because that's why your multinationals are able to run and have businesses for years and years and years. So it's a process that, okay, as soon as the customer comes through the door, I don't care how you feel. If it's raining, you're angry, you're sad, you're going to get up and greet that customer. So you're going to create that process for your customer experience. What's the journey that your customer is going to go through to enjoy your product and service? Because if they enjoy it, they're going to come back. Just like the example she gave about your Chanel Moccala and your real Chanel. Because real Chanel, you're definitely going to spend heavy money. But why would you spend that heavy money compared to the 100 CDs that you probably buy in the markets? It's the experience that they're giving you, right? So what's your customer experience? What's that customer journey that your customer is going to go through? Find it and make it a process. That process that you're going to teach your team. So regardless if you're there, you're not there, it's systematic. It's something they're going to do. So every single customer is treated the exact same way. So whether I want to buy, I don't want to buy, but just the way you treat me alone, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll give you my money. I don't mind. Does that make sense? Cool. So creating that process is something that you have to create yourself and then teach your team, because you're not always going to be there. You're going to have to teach your workers, and make it a thing that is a must. This is our company policy. This is how we operate. This is how we roll. So if somebody's trying to call us, you don't answer the phone. Like how? Have you ever had that experience? You probably chasing something and you be messaging them, or you go on Google, type the company, number comes up, dial it now. Oh, no, that one you even lucky, cry. Sometimes it doesn't even go through. You're like, what the hell, right? And if it does go through, exactly what you said, nobody picks up. If you're lucky, they do pick up. Oh, we'll get back to you. Okay, when? Right? Exactly. Then the sale's gone straight out the window, and that's your money walking off. Especially in this economy, after 2022, you can't be losing money over small little petty things. Cool. So create your customer experience. The next step I'll say from there is your follow-up process. So what's your follow-up with your customers? Are you building relationships? Are you connecting with people? Right? In the same way, again, not just you, but the team that you're working with. My 8 minutes is up. Hey. I like how you guys do it to me, but nobody rushed anybody else. Can you imagine? And look, and me too, they're taking notes, so. Okay, do you know what we'll do? If you guys have questions afterwards, I'll put my number. You can call, you can text me.
You know what we're gonna have? We're going to start back our events. Our events are gonna be as usual every first Saturday of the month. Huh? Exactly. She is very interesting. It's only the restaurant have already started hinting that we have to be out at 5, and we have one more panel. So Minerva's gonna have to do a one-to-one Zoom call. Who would join a one-to-one Zoom call, like a group Zoom call with Minerva? So like, she's the only person talking to us about marketing and sales. Perfect. So I'll just send an email to you all, and you'll have time with Minerva. Exactly. Would anyone also like it with Cookie for the insurance? Because I noticed there was a lot. Perfect. Okay, great. Great. So we've resolved that problem. See, we love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
And also, this is another nervous one, I just want to say. You see how the two nervous ones have follow-up appointments. Okay, so it's my first time doing this. If your number plate GN 427120 is a Land Cruiser, please, can you move your Land Cruiser small? Feel, pe. Thank you, darling. You know, whenever you go to a christening and they do that, you're just like, really? But then when you get to do it, you're just like, power. Okay, so luckily for us, we are at the last panel. The last panel will have to last the rest of the time we have available because we have no choice, okay? So for this last panel, Perlin, we would like to call Mariam. Thank you, Mariam. Lubna. Thank you. And Tanika. Tanika Malone. I hope you did not forget you are one of our speakers. You fell for the itis. You were eating, drinking, having your chocolates, having all your conversations. You forgot you here for a purpose. Come on, girl. Yay. Okay, so this is our last panel. And this panel, to me, or for me, should I say, is the one that I have been looking forward to the most. Why? Because we're about to talk about money. And I just have a thing for money. Anyone else have a thing for money? Oh my God, I got a thing for money. Give it to me, don't give it to me, I still like it. Okay, so let's get started. Perlin, here's your phone. Thank you, my love. I am the MC. You can hold on. So I'm going to sit on this chair this time. All right? Right. Hello, everybody. So I think if we get started with introductions, I think that would be the best first step. So Lubna, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us what you do and how it's important for us in terms of opportunities and funding.
Okay, so hi everyone. It was great meeting you all. My name is Lubna. I am Lebanese and I've been in Ghana for 10 years now. Originally, I am an online business coach, so I work with entrepreneurs and startups who want to launch their business in the online space. And I've been doing that for the past 7 years. Recently, I've launched an agency which is Social Buzz. It's a social media agency. So we help brands, personal brands and businesses to launch their brands, to promote them, to reach the right clients through content mostly, and other ways of actually reaching their potential client. So what was the next question?
No, that's good. That's right. That's the whole
Okay,
question.
great. That's it. So,
so if you pass the Necker. Thank you.
Before I get started, because I need an energy boost, okay? I was at Black Star Line Festival. I'm just going to be honest. Erykah Badu was one of my favorite artists, and I stayed until 4:30 in the morning. I still wanted to be here. So, yeah, I'm telling you, you know, we have to represent. So, I just want to do something real quick, okay? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, that's enough. All right. You know, I just wanted to get us up a little bit. My name is Tanika Malone. Most people know me as Nika Malone. I am what you call a serial entrepreneur. I do a host of things. I have my own traveling fashion production called Fire on the Runway. What that is we go from city to city and now country to country, and we produce fashion shows. We just had one last month on the 17th here in Ghana. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm also an Amazon best-selling author, so you can find me on Amazon under Nika Malone or Tanika Malone. I won an award for a book that I contributed with 8 other women, and that book was called Women Who Inspire Greatness. I live every day to inspire greatness. I'm a mother of 6, a grandmother of 8, and, you know, yeah. So, you know, when we talk about confidence, you know, I don't lack in that area. I don't care about stretch marks or weights or anything like that. I'm sexually satisfied, even if it's satisfying myself. I mean, it's just you have to do that sometimes, you know. So some of the other things I do here in Ghana, I'm an honorable chairwoman for the Models Union of Ghana. I am also a director of operations for an NGO, Bristol Ghana Foundation. We specialize in working with teen mothers. I was a teen mother. Tanisha was a teen mother.
Oh my God, literally, I think I still am a teen mother. I had my son at 16. He's 20.
Yes.
And he just annoys me.
It's like
every
they
day.
never grow
I
up.
feel
It's
like
like
I'm
they're your
still
little
16.
brother. Yeah. And I also am into property management, real estate, and all about women empowerment and women uplifting each other. So I just want to say real quick, love yourself. Love those next to you. I don't believe that any other woman looks better than me. That's just me. I don't care what she looks like. She's unique in her own beauty, and I am mine. So I own my shit. That's just how I am. So, okay, are we woke now? Are we ready now?
We are so
Alrighty,
ready.
let's go.
Whoop. Okay, Mariam.
Now I think my introduction is not adequate. Yeah, I should have gone before her. My name is Miriam, and I work with Stanbic Investment Management Services. It's an asset management company in Ghana. And at this time right now, when you talk about investment, Ghanaians don't want to listen. It's such a dreadful time for us who sell investments and for investors themselves. And for the past 2 months, I've just been trying to calm my clients down, given what is happening. So I hope I can give you some information. But on the other side, I'm a coach. I'm a professional coach. And what I find fulfilling most is speaking to people and getting them to the point that, okay, I can get and I can achieve my goals. And that's what I do that I find most fulfilling. So I'm the lead coach for MK Anna. It's an abbreviation for my 3 kids. And yeah, I love doing that. I am so excited to be here. Thank you, Tanisha, and thank you all for showing up.
Thank you. Thank you. So, This is the last panel. At first, I think I want to talk to Teneka. I want to ask Teneka a question. Can I just call you Neka? Because I normally call you Neka. Can I just call you Neka? Because I always call you Neka. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to ask my first question to Neka because Neka has this way of finding opportunities in thin air and like making things happen. So Neka, tell us about, I guess, where or how or like what you feel you do that allows you to be able to spark these connections. Because the other day I was minding my business, scrolling Instagram, boom, Neka is posing with Chance the Rapper, talking about how amazing his work is and how lovely a conversation they just had. So it's like you're even doing so well, you're promoting people who should technically be able to promote themselves. How and what is it you feel that you're doing that you feel is replicable by other people and is actually part of the reason why you're able to find these opportunities?
First, what I would say for me, in order to be a leader, you have to first know how to serve. So I serve, I volunteer. I don't everything you be seeing me do on social media, I'm not always getting paid for that. And that's all right, because the Most High has a way of providing the finances that I need as long as I stay in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's how I do it. And I'm bold. If someone says no, it's cool. When I met Chance, I didn't go and bore him with, I have all these projects. I walked right up to him like we was on the street and just spoke to him and said, what do you need help on the grounds with? And that's what like clicked in his mind to think like, wow, many people are coming to ask for something. Not many are coming to offer something. So I don't always look for the revenue, but not to say to play yourself short. Definitely make sure that you are getting paid for your skills and your talents. Our gifts makes room for us in places. My name is in places I haven't even stepped in yet. Honestly, I've been in publications in Zimbabwe. I have done a show in Kenya, and I have never been to Nairobi, Kenya, not still to this day. I have not. I'm also really good with networking. I'm a gorilla on networking. Like, I do not care. Other people are DMing for booty calls and other sneaky links. I am DMing to build my net worth. So I will DM the president, the vice president of any organization that I need to get in contact with. And these type of events like this, you utilize them and go and speak to people. You can't be shy if you want to be successful. It's not going to work. It actually doesn't go in the same space. So you have to decide. And I determined, since I'm short, I got to make big waves. So I got to do the best that I can do for myself. And so that's just how I did it. Is I'm not afraid. I'm very bold. I look for the people that are in the industry or in industries I'm interested in. And I just work my way. You know what I'm saying?
Work your way.
Make it do what it do, baby.
And she is good. In fact, I think that's how we met. So I was having the garden party, which is like the outdoor version of this event. It's usually in spring. I think it was in April last year. And Neka saw something and asked someone to connect us, right? No, you DM'd us. She DM'd us. What am I talking about? Neka DM'd us, like she said. And then she was like, I want to be a speaker. And then I said, okay, fine, let's have a Zoom call. Because it's kind of weird to have a speaker you've never spoken to before. I swear that Zoom call interview became a whole friendship. We had to end the call at some point, I believe. And then that was it. So she's right. She's really, really good at connecting and making those dots. And I do think that's one of the things that's most relevant, because even with how we promoted this event, and Poe was like, Tanisha, it's been Christmas, it's New Year's. When will you have the chance to talk to promote the event? I said, no, we're just going to DM everyone. And so we just DM'd everyone. And then that was it. We were sold in 3 days, and then people kept calling and dripping in. But truth be told, by 3 days later, we were fine. And we only started on Saturday. So actually sliding in those DMs is really important, because a lot of people are not responsive. But a lot of people are responsive. The people that are not responsive aren't going to be driven to do the thing you want them to do anyway. So it's not even a problem. It's a filtering system. I'll tell you the truth. As people respond, I flag them and move them to primary. If they don't respond, I move them to general. Sometimes if they respond and they just don't say anything of value, like they just like, oh, I was just curious. Okay, fine. They're still in general. We just got to have a filtering system. So I love that, Neka. Thank you so much. Right, so my next question is Lubna. So Lubna, social buzz. So Lubna's all into making these like Instagram reels and Instagram videos, and they're so fun and creative. How do you feel like visual content, that kind of media, is useful in terms of funding and getting opportunities? Like, what has been the positive outcomes you have had, or like your clients?
I think it's two ways to go by it. It's either you go and approach someone. Let's say it depends on what you're looking for. If it's a client or if it's a partnership, either you'd want people to find you. So both ways. If you're, let's say, if you're a personal brand and you're a coach or a fitness instructor, content now is key because people, first thing they do when they meet you, they go on your social media platform and they check you out, they check out your videos. And the first few seconds is when they get the first impression of you. So a lot of your brand values and your mission has to be there on the front at the beginning. So definitely through the content and style, they will figure it out. Once they feel that they can trust you or they feel that you're interesting, this is when the communication might happen. So this is if we're talking about you creating content that will get people, get traffic to your page and get people to follow you, to be curious at least about what you do. And this will open up opportunities for partnerships and collaborations because right now, while we're sitting here, there's a lot of potential for collaborations. If you're a fitness coach or you're a trainer and then there's someone else who's selling some healthy snack, this is when you can partner together and that person has an audience. Okay, so let's say the fitness coach has a wide audience of people who are interested in health and fitness. And he promotes that snack. This is, you're getting access to that person's audience. And at the same time, it's aligning with their values. So definitely a fitness instructor would not want to promote something that does not fit under his values. So, so just speaking, right now, you will find potential to collaborate and partner. And this will help you grow even more. This is why we do also at Social Buzz influence marketing. So because we believe that people are more likely to buy something, or when it's someone that they follow, they trust, they are aspired to become like, they actually recommend it. So they're more likely and they see sales go much higher than when you're actually doing the traditional. So we go for influencer marketing because it's relatable and people can connect. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, Mariam. So listen, you're in the bank. It's always good to have an inside woman. What is the trick that we are missing? What do we need to do, I guess, to be able to act? In fact, you know what? How do we even start to be able to understand the different kind of financial instruments the banks say they have for us? Like, what is the process of navigation for that? How do we start? Where do we start? How do we know which bank is good? I know you work with Stanbic, but in general, you're also a female entrepreneur. How do we go about picking the right bank and picking the right funding source or finance source or deciding if it's credit or grants? Or I know it's a big question, but I feel like you can handle it. I believe in you.
I'll do my best.
Believe in you.
I'll do my best. But just to add to what Neka and Lubna said, I think it's really important that you have this confidence. I'm here because I started speaking and Tanisha's friend said, I know this lady. And they went throughout the bank in different floors trying to find me. And they found me. And then to add to Lubna, so I just chanced on one program that Tanisha was doing. I saw her flyer and I just WhatsApped her, I see you. And that's how come I'm sitting here today. So content is important. That confidence is so important. And then when you have that, money is also important. So that's why I'm talking about money. I don't work in the bank. I did that for 1.5 years. And then, okay, in Standard Chartered as well. But I didn't do core banking. So when it comes to requirements of the bank and what you need as a small business, I may not be able to give you the full details. But definitely you would need to set up and have a banking account if you want to start it right and get your books done well. Like she said, I'm an entrepreneur as well. And so from the very start, look out for apps that will be able to help you with bookkeeping. One that I found was Soho Books. I don't know who uses that. It helps you to put your clients together, your expenditure, etc., etc. And these things are very important. And then filing your taxes at the end of the year as well. If you want to go forward, if you want other businesses to give you contracts, they'll be looking at your finances and it has to look good. So from the very basis, this is my first year of actually launching out. I made sure for the full year, I have my book and my accounting in place. And then I'm looking for someone to file my taxes for me. And trust me, I haven't earned that much. For some time, I was doing a lot of things pro bono. A lot of my coaching sessions was just to help me get that confidence and then put myself out. Today, I'm trying to build content as well. So my website is up and running. I have my LinkedIn app as well. There's nothing there yet. No. So it's important that the books are right from the start. And that's what also helps you with the financial aid, because every bank you go to or approach is looking at your ability to pay. That's the first thing they look at. That if I give you this money, because the money is not for the bank, it's for another person that is trusting you to make returns for them. So when they're giving it to you, they need to know that you can pay back. And what do you have but your track record? So the first year, this is what I did. Second year, this is what I did. I can guarantee you that I will do better if I get this amount. So if you're starting out, wherever you are, at what point you are, please try and put your books together, put your accounting processes together. If you are not earning that much, a lot of the things that I did, I tried to find people around me who were starting up as well. So for my creative, my arts, for instance, I found a national service person who was in my team and had the flair for it. So he designed everything for me and I paid him something. I paid, but it was not as much as the professionals that are out there. And so when you begin to do these things and account for them and the little money, I don't charge for my coaching because coaching is quite expensive. I do my 8 to 5 job. So this I do as starting out. So I call it a commitment fee. It's still money that is coming in. Recognize it. Recognize your expenditure. Even if you're not making profits now, it will come eventually because you need a track record to get any financial gain. Now, when you get there and you're making the gains, you also need to plow back or invest some of the funds that will make your business sustainable. There are a number of them. If you're starting out and you want to invest, try to understand the objective for your investment. Why am I investing in the first place? A lot of us hear people doing this and then we follow to do that. And I always say that if you do that, it's just like going to the tailor and telling him that I have neck's measurement. Please sew a dress for me. It doesn't work. So always start with, why am I investing this money? Is it for near future to plow back? Or is it for long term because I'm trying to set up another business? That will help the financial advisor put you in a place which will benefit you. Because if you look out for someone, what someone else is doing, you probably go and put your money into a long-term investment, and then now you need it for that short-term business or project, and you don't have, and anytime you have to go for that long-term, it will come at a cost to you. So it's important that you get your objectives right, and then you speak to a financial advisor. I hope I did a good job.
I think you did a really good job. Good job, right? That's what I'm talking about. Have faith in her. So we got to have faith in each other, guys. All right. So I think many of you have noticed people trying to tell me the restaurant is San Francisco. So we'll just ask 2 small questions. So 2 more questions. Does anyone have any questions in the audience before I ask a couple more questions? Yeah.
You were talking about with businesses, you know, we can go to the bank and get a loan and have everything ready. The problem I'm facing, especially with banks in Ghana, interest is way too high. I used to print. I used to own a printing press. My biggest competitor was getting his machines from the US with an interest rate of 3%. Ghana's bank were giving me interest rates of 20 something. I can't compete. So if we want financing, if we want, how you're talking, how do we get good financing with good interest rates? Because right now we just can't. We can't.
And you still can't. It's even worse now. Oh, are you adding or you are answering that? I thought you were bailing me out.
So, the same way your competitor went via a US bank, you need to start looking at other African banking markets that have better interest rate. If you're getting deals with them, if they have a good standing with their bank, they can work in the financing structure in your business deal, but they take it out in their profile in that country. So the same applies in any other country. It all depends on the relationship you have with your supplier and how far they're willing to assist you to further your business.
I just wanted to add quickly. I think that the obvious is that there's not it's not funding in Africa like we think it is, but there actually really is. And so it's more so knowing someone who can get you the right information. It's not easy, and I'm not going to say it's just going to be given to you, but I have been studying this for like 2 years. I was one of the ones that did not rush and come here and open a business coming from the US. I wanted to take my time and understand the market a little bit better. You said something earlier, the funding is just not here like that. So we need to champion more for funding to be available in Africa, all over the continent, because we have opportunities to do business all over, not just in Ghana. But in Ghana specifically, we have to use our voices well to start finding out where are these financial resources? How are these other businesses being able to come to Ghana and start and actually be profitable and be consistent with managing their finances? So I don't want to leave us with a derogative thought that there's no money, because in entrepreneurship, we're all hustling. It's always like that. It never stops, but it's just basically knowing it's money.
There is loads of money. So I would just like to come at this from a different perspective. I like the type of entrepreneurship where my customers pay for the thing before they get the thing. And I think that too often, as new entrepreneurs, what new entrepreneurs do too often is they like to think that they have to have everything ready, and then people might buy it. But in Entrepreneurship Bootcamp and in entrepreneurship anyway, there's something that we do. It's called validation. Validation is the act of ensuring that you have checked that people want the thing you're selling before you start selling it, right? So when it comes to especially products, what you'll find, right, is I've got this beautiful beaded bag I bought in one of the shops in the airport here in Ghana. Now, there is a guy that I follow online, and what he does is before he's even made his beaded bags, he tells people he's going to make these beaded bags. Before he's even finished making the beaded bags, people have paid for the beaded bags. And they paid a premium. Why? Because he's so special, he's so good, he's so that, he's so brave, he's so confident, right? So a lot of the time, the services that we're offering and the products that we're offering, we don't need actually to have a lot of stock to make the sales. What we need to do is have a lot of customers who have committed to buy and who have made their payment, and then we need to supply them with the product. And we need to be transparent about delivery times. People don't mind 60-day delivery times. I shipped my stuff from London and I knew it would take 3 months. I didn't mind, right? So I think a lot of times what we do is we forget we are not the customer. You are not your customer. You might want it in 5 days. Someone doesn't mind 55 days. Your customer is the one that does not mind 55 days. And as long as you stick to that, you'll have no problems, right? So even in my office right now, I've got tons and tons of stock. And the other day someone was like, oh, but Tanisha, you bought all this stuff. Like, isn't it a waste of money? Of course not. When I make a sale, I buffer in extra things like the cost of delivery, cost of production, cost of this, then cost of the fact that it's actually quite nice. And within that, it means that sometimes I can buy 2 for the price of I'm selling it. And I actually do, even with this event. Everything that's being made from this event is already just to fund the fact that we have a whole new branding set. So all our pull-up banners, all our everything is already being bought, right? Because then what happens the next time? I don't have to buy that stuff anymore. So I think it's about the approach that we take to money and the approach that we take to ourselves, our relationship with money, and our misunderstanding, misconceptions about the fact that we think other people have the same relationship with money we do. We might be broke. Other people are rich. Other people are wealthy. So if £100 or 100 cities is a lot to you, it's nothing to someone else. That someone else is your customer. That's the key. In my life, never a credit card, never a loan, never a this, never a that. And not because I don't know how important it is to build credit ratings and all that. No, because my grandmother was a headmistress. My grandmother was militant. If I wanted something, I should have the cash to buy it. If I wanted to buy something, I should at least try and know the person selling it. So you won't see me buying name brands, you won't see me wasting a lot of money, and you won't see me spending too much money, and definitely not cash I'm not holding. And I think as an entrepreneur, that kind of strict financial discipline is not just good for you personally, it's good for you as the entrepreneur. That's how it'll make sure you file your taxes on time. That's what will make sure your business has a lot of revenue. That's what will make sure that your debts are low, especially in a market like this, especially in an environment like this. So sorry to kind of sound like it's a lecture, but I'm glad we talked about that stuff. But also don't forget, the money's waiting for you. You're just not asking anybody for it. You're being shy, you're being humble. That's not entrepreneurship. That's why Minerva sales, yes, and that's why we have to have an hour with Minerva, because you're not selling it. You have to sell your stuff and look for the people who you're most afraid of selling it to, because they're your customers, and build the confidence to speak to them. That's your only job, because somewhere in the world, someone is sitting in a corner crying because they can't find something you're storing. So, don't know where that came from. Right, next question. Last question. Oh, last 2 questions.
Thank you. My question is, if I have a hobby that I love to do, how would you advise me if I want to turn it into a business and earn money from it? What would you advise that I do? If I have a hobby.
I recommend you don't start that business. So that clap came quick. So, I mean, that's me, and I'm going to pass the mic around. But you should come forward. There's a seat here. There's more seats everywhere. I'll pass the mic for everyone's perspective, but I do not think people should start businesses from ideas and hobbies. I think that's a waste of time and money. You just start businesses from data. What are people buying? Ask Google, your best friend. What do people want? How much are they paying? How often are they buying it? Right? How many people do they buy it for? Then you know that market exists. Do that with your first business, your second business, your third business, and your fourth business can be your creative idea, can be your hobby, and you're paying for it with consistent revenue. That's what I suggest, okay? So how does that look, for example? Last event we had, someone said to me, but what if I want to open a nail shop because I know people get their nails done, but I don't know how to do nails? Then that's a different decision. That's about deciding if you want to work on your business or in your business. A second reason why it's not good to start a business from your hobby, because are you trying to get yourself employed or are you trying to be an entrepreneur? You cannot work in your business and work on your business at the same time. If you're busy working inside it, who's running it? Who's planning for it? Who's being strategic? Health and wellness are the kind of areas where a lot of people work in their business. But it's not by force, or it's not mandatory. You're just a good yoga teacher, or you're a good masseuse, or you're good at nails, but you could also be good at teaching people those things, be good at training people in those things. You could actually have staff do those things so you can operate a business, right? So that's the other reason why I don't recommend a hobby, right? So first is because a hobby is kind of like half idea-ish, and starting businesses on good ideas they're not validated. So you need data. Start building on things that people want. And like I said, if it is a hobby, you're probably doing it because you're good at it. If you're good at it, that means you're working in it. Then no one's working on the business. Anyone else?
I think you covered the main points. Like it's very on point. I would add something just to shift of perspective. Rather than thinking of it as a hobby, any business that we want to pursue, we have to be interested in the business, definitely. So it's more like following our interests. Now, you have to enjoy it. Enjoy at least the topic. Either it's a topic and you don't know how to do it, as you said, you get someone to do it, but then you're interested, let's say, in the health and wellness. I could open a gym, but I'm not a trainer, and I'm working, as you said, on the business. But I have to be in some way interested, passionate, enjoying that specific field, or else I'm gonna hate it, because entrepreneurship comes with a lot of ups and downs. So if I don't feel a sense of purpose, then I'm not going to be consistent enough in building it. There should be a sense of purpose. So, and something I always say, like what Tanisha is saying, is that definitely, yes, I look at it this way. It's your passion. You have to love it. You have to be good at it. If you're not good at it, get someone good at it. And there has to be an opportunity. So, like as you said, market research, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. When I started Fire on the Runway, I was homeless, I was jobless, and I had no desire to start no traveling, fashion, anything. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was called to it. And so sometimes you end up realizing that, yeah, it wasn't really your idea, but it became you. And you needed to find that out through trial and error. Now, I'm with Tanisha. I don't think that all your hobbies can turn into a business, because being an entrepreneur means sometimes planning when your bank account is at $0. Being an entrepreneur is sometimes being up at 2 or 3 and 4 in the morning while everyone else is asleep. Being an entrepreneur is something you have to have a passion for, regardless of what industry it is in. You have to have a passion to be an entrepreneur. And many women and men want to be entrepreneurs because they've seen someone else doing it. But they're not, like I be telling people, you're really an employee. You're not really an entrepreneur. So a lot of times people get mad at me. They're like, you're shutting me down. No, I'm not going to waste energy on an employee having an entrepreneurship conversation with you. So you have to be able to determine which way you want it to be. You can turn a hobby into an actual profitable business, but it needs to be something that's in demand. See, a lot of times we want to do something like, for example, because you're wearing the flower, we decide I want to start wearing flowers. I want to make flowers. Nobody's really buying flowers. And you didn't spend all your money and time making flowers. That's not going nowhere. Nobody ever told you to do that. You didn't see anywhere anything saying that there was a mass number of flowers. But what is happening right now, the health and wellness industry is growing so drastically right now. It's a profitable business. Tap in. You have to tap in. You have to have confidence. You have to be consistent. And you have to be real with yourself. So when you leave here today, ladies and gentlemen, go and ask yourself, am I really ready to be an entrepreneur? Because some months you may not have any revenue coming in, but you have to still keep going. And so that's when you know I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm comfortable going to someone else's establishment and working a 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with that either. If that's what you choose to do, just be able to distinguish who you are to yourself, not to anybody else. Recently, real quick, did a model audition. When asked the model, why are you here? She said, my friends said that I could walk. I said, your friends? Your friends have lied to you, unfortunately. What do you want to do? She wasn't there for herself. She wasn't there because that's where she wanted to be. So everything that you will ever see me, Nika_Malone on IG, check that. Anything you ever see me doing, it's because I want to do that. I have a passion for doing it. And even sometimes I'm uncomfortable doing certain things. I never would have been doing this 2 years ago. My confidence level was not there. 3 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first started out being homeless and I only had 2 outfits to wear to these type of events, and I would hope that this chick is not at the next one so she can't tell that I had that same outfit on. I'm talking about real entrepreneurship, getting on the bus and going to these events and getting off the stop 2 blocks before so they don't see me because I was so self-conscious about what they thought of me. But I had to realize it's what I think of me. So love yourself and know who you are. If you feel like your hobby can make you money, baby, then you making money. There's Etsy, there's all kind of other websites that little hobby things can happen. But if you're ready to be an entrepreneur, then you be that, okay?
Thank you. And then there was one last question, which is the last question of the day. So I'm going to pass the microphone this way to you.
So Nick, I want to ask, how do you find the right balance between work, family, your personal life? How do you do it?
I got home at 7:30. Tanisha was calling me at 10:30, like, you on your way, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. But because I'm committed, because I believe in what she's doing, that I'm going to get up. Even if I'm a little tired, I'm not going to display that to all of you. I'm still going to give it my best. So the way that I find balance, I pray, I meditate, and I take time for me. And I do things that pleasure myself to make sure that I am not stressed out in any kind of level. And it's not always about doing sexual stuff. If it's just going to a movie by myself, I'm okay with doing that. You know? I mean, you know, you thought I was going there, girl, but I don't want everybody to know I touch myself. Oh my God. But if you need to touch yourself, definitely do it because I'm a fan of it, you know. But I'm just saying that I find time, and now my children are older. My oldest is 28, so I had to put in work. So I had to sacrifice the things I wanted to do when they were younger. I was always not able to do. So when that last child graduate out of 6 children, I said, I'm gone. I'm going to do what mommy need to do. And my children are very proud of me. My grandchildren are very proud of me. My siblings, my mother, my father, my whole entire family. I'm the first to come here and move to Ghana, the first. They're going to be coming sooner or later. They don't know it yet, but it's happening. So finding time to just find balance. Prayer is everything. I believe in God in all that I do. And I put God first in everything that I do. If I'm tired, I'm asking God, give me strength. If I feel weak, I say, God, encourage me. If there's anything that I'm needing, I seek it, I manifest it. And I spend that time doing that. So spend time and love you. Love you. Touch yourself.
Thank you for letting me squeeze in the last question. And actually, Tanika, I think you just touched on this to different answering the question, but I think you all sit up there just exude so much confidence and you have a sense of the value that you bring. And I think that that is so key, as you mentioned, about how you position yourself and knowing the value that you bring to whatever market that is. So what do you do to work on the mindset and to keep yourselves there?
Thank you for that thought-provoking last question.
I told y'all already what I do to work on the mindset, okay? I motivate myself, I touch myself, spend time with myself. I put prayer first, you know, and I enjoy, I'm living and not existing anymore. My whole entire well-being, coming from being 12 years old, having my first child, everything was about survival. So now I'm not in just survival mode. So mentally, you have to keep telling yourself when nobody else will tell you. Everyone's not going to wake up and be like, girl, you look good. So you need to do it. You need to do it.
You know, I would add to that is when it comes to mindset, I think it's all about what we're feeding our mind. So it's because naturally, as a human being, we're negative. We're negative in thinking, we have fears, we have insecurities, and all of the baggage. It's about how much and what energy you're putting in. So surrounding yourself by the right people. If I'm feeling a bit, that's something I do personally. If I'm feeling that I'm going into the negative self-talk, I go open a podcast or I read something or I talk with a friend that I know that will lift me up. These are things in the external. But internally, when there's fear and there's doubt and there's all of this, something feelings that we cannot overcome, and I don't think the focus should be on overcoming them, but doing things anyway. And I might be afraid to be here because I might feel like, let's say you're afraid for someone to judge you, but you're going to do it anyway. And when you do it, that will, the muscle of courage, you're strengthening it. So I think it's by practice you develop the mindset despite.
I think everything has been said. Transforming the mind, it depends on what you're feeding it. And going forward in this life, you will survive based on your mindset. If you say you can do it, you can do it. And the fact that you have a very strong foundation, and I think Neka has talked about the foundation I have as well, which is God. If the center doesn't hold, nothing works for me. Everything that I do, so to be able to manage my family and 3 kids, they're toddlers, and then an 8 to 5 job, and then my business, it takes God, and it takes working on yourself, and then it takes time out, because you can't give what you don't have, and you can't keep pouring out. You will be empty if you are not refilling. So those time outs are very important. And it's not me and the kids and my husband. No, it's just me. It's me and my friends. And I need those time outs so that I feel like I'm giving myself something and so I can give others. So it's God. It is taking care of yourself, and then it's showing up for others as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So for me, I think mine is slightly different, but I did say earlier that I am dyslexic, so maybe I think totally differently. But mine are like, I think less, do more. Because actually the truth is, when I think myself out of things. So I'm like, think less, do more. Like blindside, like I'll play whatever I have to do to numb my brain. So play music very loud or whatever, that's what I'll do. That's my first process. And the second one is I literally source accountability buddies. So everyone you see around me, I make myself accountable to them. For example, Ernest, this amazing guy at the back, stand up Ernest, and the camera crew. Whoop, whoop. I literally met Ernest because my other half told me he was amazing, and he is. Like on the other side, the TV viewing is like a show. We are starting LEC TV, guys, LEC TV. And he's the guy. But I make myself accountable to him. From the moment I asked him if he could do it, all I've done is do what he needs me to do. When he calls me, I answer. If I miss call, I apologize, right? Because it keeps me on the other side. If I forget myself and I'm like, actually, this guy works for me, then I'll slack. Because that's my nature. So I keep myself accountable. Also the women around me, like Minerva, giving out gifts, Perlin, everybody. Even Neka, even Lubna. Believe it or not, these women call me and ask me if I finished what I'm supposed to be doing. Have you finished? Have you done this? Have you done? Like, they don't trust me, you know? But it's because in their minds, they know that I like it. I wouldn't feel offended by it. I wouldn't feel disrespected by someone checking if I did. Even this one, Lois, flew in and landed today. God bless you, Lois. Hey. My part-time best friend. Eh? Lois, this event was supposed to run in December, and I thought about it. So, of course, because I thought about it, we're in January. But she was like, but you have to do it. But you know you have to do it. And I even said to her, don't tell me what I have to do. Don't tell me how to live my life. Go. But she was right. So there is one thing of just blindly doing what you're supposed to do without thinking too much, knowing your nature. And on the other side, like getting people to be bossy to you, to remind you that even as a leader, you're a follower. Like Neka said, if you're not serving, you won't find purpose. So that's how I approach it. So with that, I would like to say a huge thank you. Please do not get up yet. We're giving gifts to you. So now that I'm saying thank you, the girls will start walking around quicker because they were trying to be polite. But I would like to say a huge thank you to the panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's clap for them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Harriet. Come forward. Thank you to Minerva. Come forward. Come forward, Minerva. Come forward, Harriet. Perlin. Where is everyone? Cheryl, Kathy, Catherine Morton. Please come forward. You are being called. Close your mouth. Come. Because all these women, and any speakers that are here as well, all these women have really been really key in making sure your experiences have been what they have been today. Someone luckily remembered you would need water yesterday. Yeah? That's Evie. Evie, come forward. Come forward. Let's clap for Evie and thank Evie for the fact that she remembered we need water. This is Evie. This is the reason you have water today, my loves. Okay? So, you know, and I really wanted to say thank you to everyone because the truth of the matter is the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club, it is a community because people are willing to be in it and we're in it together. The only reason we renovated it and made it something people could join officially is because actually the more of us we meet, the more we want to be together, and it's just really hard to logistically manage. So the final thing I will tell you about it is once you join and you're a member, we have our own social media space in there, like our own Facebook type space. You make a profile, you message each other, you DM, you share links, you share files, you make sales. And on the website, you will see when you click marketplace and you go to products, it says upload a product. Services, upload a service. Event, add an event. So you can also promote to our Ladies Entrepreneurship community. You are the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club, okay? So thank you. Clap for yourselves for coming along. Woo! Oh yes, we have 2 60-minute intimacy coaching sessions to give away with Erica. And I reserved one already. I'm joking. No, so we have 2 to give away. So I'll ask a question. Earlier I said I was going to ask questions to do with our website. Why, you're going to Google the website? LadiesEntrepreneurshipClub.com, guys. You want to give those away as well? All right. No, we're not giving the folder. Okay, so the question I want to ask is how much is planner level of the club membership? So in the club, we have 3 memberships. How much is it to be a planner? $48. $48. Intimacy coaching with Erica, winner number 1. Don't worry, used to a different question. We have products in the marketplace that end with the word hour. Okay? There are 2 of them. Shout out anyone you see first. Power hour. Power hour. Funny enough, the hour with Erica is a power hour. It's a powerful hour, right? So Erica, you have Kamisha, and please tell us your name. Oh, who was it? It was her. Oh, huh? Oh, Beulah. Oh, you signed up today. See, it's good to sign up last minute. You see. Good. So those are the 2 people. Please go to Erica. And then, has everyone managed to get yourselves the bootcamp brochure and your free gift from Azalea? Good. Then I think one more gift to give away. Come on, we can't just give them everything we have, guys. Okay, who has not received a gift of anything yet? The guys. Oh, come here. Did you like your? Yeah, I know you can. Did you like your drinks on arrival? This is our alcohol sponsor. She brought the alcohol, La Gioiosa. La Giosa. It's Italian for joyful. And are we not joyful after drinking her drinks, darlings? Yes. That's yours. That's yours. Take yours. All right. So what is the last thing I need to give away? You have a giveaway. Come on then. You come then. Which bottle?
Giveaway. We mentioned 2 offers today. The bottle goes to anyone who can remember what it is and the prize. We had 2 special offers for myself, for time with myself or Tanisha. Anyone who can mention what it is. The first to say it. No, that was not it. You like on the money. What was the other one? There we go. Um,
Mention our company's Instagram. So Tanisha actually mentioned that she managed to get everyone here in 3 days through social media, and I forgot to mention my company's social media page. So I thought I'd take the chance. It's KEK Insurance Brokers, one word. Very easy to find. So please follow us. I see the messages, but we have a client service team who will answer to any requests. But if you want to speak to me, just type cookie and someone will get me to give you guys a call back. And also you can send any questions that I wasn't able to answer here through and the client service team will do their best. It's KEK Insurance Brokers. Simple, one word. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, so one last gift. The alcohol sponsor wants to give someone a bottle. Now we have non-alcoholic prosecco and alcohol prosecco. So if you don't drink alcohol, you don't have to not participate. By the way, guys, you can still participate. So the golden question for this last giveaway is: what is the name of the alcohol?
Yay!
Woo! Congratulations. I see how you were reading.